under the lights for about 23 minutes.
I love it.
It is going to be a fun day if you are a Tennessee sports fan, because softball team plays some SEC game at 1 o'clock, and then the baseball team plays a good Georgia baseball team at 3 o'clock. Although, I guess if you're a fan, you can watch most of the baseball game before you head over to Neyland. But if you're going to be in the press box, like I will, and you have to get there early, I don't even know if it's worth it to go to the baseball game. But if you are a big Tennessee sports fan, it is a big Tennessee athletics day. I think the track team has an event early in the morning, and then it's like softball and then baseball. There are a bunch of things back to back to back to back. So it should be a fun day.
Humble brag. If you were in the press box like I am,
I will.
I
don't want to be in the press box, if I'm being honest. I'd rather be amongst the people.
Cheering?
Not necessarily cheering. It's just going to football games at Neyland Stadium isn't the same when you are watching from the press box. You're closed off in a glass. You don't hear the crowd as loud as you would if you were in the stands. It's just in terms of watching a sporting event, I would much rather be in the crowd. Although the benefit of being in the press box, if the skies open up like it did 2 years ago and the second half has to be canceled, I'm in the press box instead of trying to walk back to my car in the midst of a hurricane.
Yeah, you can get a really good look of everything that's going on too when you are sitting up there, press box, or in the luxury suites with the big wigs up there. You can see everything, and so that's the benefit. But yeah, I'm with you. I like sitting amongst the people, and it feels like you're not even at the game if you are up there in the press box or away from the crowd. 865-200-5503 B Dry Waterproofing Hotline this morning. Spring game, and you know what? I'm proud of Tennessee football because we're seeing promotion. And something that we didn't see a couple of years ago when, like 2 days before the orange and white game, folks were talking about breaking attendance records. We're not going to break an attendance record. Y'all have not talked about this all spring long. If you want people to come, you need to ask people to come a lot earlier so they can make arrangements. You can actually argue that maybe they could have done this a week or two earlier than this year, but hey, this is better than years before. So we're seeing players, we're seeing coaches promote attendance, and I like to change up. I wonder if fan day is going to be the same as last year or different, but I'm looking forward to checking out this team today. They hit the practice field again, and something that we talked about before spring started was they might as well go ahead and name Jared Garantano the starting quarterback because it's not going to be much of a competition, in my opinion, during the spring. That was before spring started. Here we are right now going into our third, fourth week, and that's the case, but no official name, no official word of the starter. But it's Jared's show, and I'm looking really forward to seeing how he performs in front of a crowd under Jim Chaney.
As the guy. As the guy. Really the only quarterback competition right now, it's not even really, it is the only quarterback competition right now is for the backup spot between freshman Brian Maurer and then redshirt freshman JT Shrout. And all indications from Saturday's scrimmage is that JT Shrout had a fairly good day, and then Brian Maurer had it. I don't know that I'd say a rough day, but JT Shrout and Jared Garantano had a better day. Although Shrout threw an interception in the end zone to, I believe, Warren Burrell, early enrollee, picked him off, and then Jared also had a bad interception. So I am interested to see not only Jared be the guy in the spring game under Jim Chaney, but I also want to see him after his day is quote-unquote done, and he takes off the shoulder pads, and Shrout and Maurer are in there getting work in. I want to see JG very talkative with those guys, leading and talking it up with those guys on the sideline.
865-200-5503. I think you're going to see that. That's something that Jared does, and he did that in every year he's been here except for the one when Quentin Dormany was here. So we'll see that. I want to see how much this basketball program is going to rub off on this Tennessee football program since the tournament. Admiral wrote out a letter to kind of set the standards for Tennessee athletics. Now, he wrote out a bunch of things in the last 36 hours. That's for sure. He wrote out a bunch of things. But one of the things that he did send out was about the standard of Tennessee athletics. And so I wonder how much Tennessee football program is going to take the mentality of the basketball team, whether it's on the field and how they play and how hard they play, how unselfish they play, or just off the field in relationships that they build. And when you have a guy like Admiral come to your program, I think it affects all sports. And I'm looking forward to see how that actually happens with this Tennessee football team. We will take our first break of the day here in the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End BBQ. Stay with us. Be right back.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End BBQ is the best place in Knoxville to scratch your barbecue itch. With new specials and a new menu, there is something for everyone. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, try the Smokehouse Stew. Thursday through Sunday, the Hillbilly Chili is where it's at. Don't forget the half-price wings on Tuesdays from 4 to 8 p.m. and the salmon plate on Friday. The people spoke and Dead End listened, adding Dead End Society favorites like the Bernie Mac, Randall's Kitchen Sink Burrito, and the Barbecue Cheddar Meatloaf to the menu full time. Whether it's a game day or any day, at Dead End Barbecue, the mouth-watering barbecue search is over.
Do you want a custom-themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code SWAIN at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? If so, then call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. I take a no-nonsense approach to the real estate transaction. No fluff, just facts. Having lived and worked in the Knoxville area for 19 years, I am very familiar with the local real estate landscape and am ready to help you get the most money for your property with the least amount of hassle in the shortest amount of time. No one likes for their home to sit on the market for months at a time. If a straightforward approach to your real estate needs is what you prefer, then give me a call. Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty at 865-694-5904 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. You pull over, step out of your car, and the next thing you know, you're being arrested for driving under the influence. Now what do? We all should be responsible, but remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza at 865-540-8300. The investigative teams at the Garza Law Firm know the justice system inside and out. They utilize cutting-edge technologies and investigative methods to prepare your specific case. Before you plead guilty to any criminal charges, call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza. Put his number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty. Say Garza. 865-540-8300. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
And you know this. Man!
Eight 255-03 is the number to the Beat Dry Waterproofing Hotline here in the Swain Event. 850 AM, 100.9 FM. Rocky Top Sports is where you can find us on the dial. You can download the free Swain Event app, Android, Apple devices. You can text us using the text box, sending in a comment or a question. You can watch the show on Swain Event TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, and on Periscope. There's volume. We're pumping the volume. Technology sometimes does what it wants to do, but we got technology under control. So we have a visual, we have audio, we are rocking. Ben McKee is in baseball mode. In a few days since opening day, Ben has emptied the closet, all of his Yankee gear. Is that it? Or you got more? Because you rocked the jersey, and today you have on a Yankee sweatshirt.
I don't have as much Yankee apparel as I do Tennessee apparel. I've got 2 Yankee hoodies and a couple of Yankee shirts. I've got like a Derek Jeter jersey and then a regular Yankees dry fit, and then I got the jersey. So I'm still rocking my Tennessee basketball. I've got the cartoonish, like Grant Williams and Lamont. It's a T-shirt they gave out to the student section last season. It's one of my favorite ones they gave out. It's like, I think it's the one with Bernard King and Grant Williams, and they're like all cartoonish people.
Yeah. So you're good, man. You're getting over Tennessee basketball, and I mean we have to. We got to keep it moving. We have to. Tennessee football is man, they're trying to get better. They got a great staff. We'll talk to Austin Price at 9:15, and Derek Ansley, new defensive coordinator. He joined Austin Price and Chris Lowe's show, The Nation, on Sundays, and we'll talk to Austin and ask him about his conversation with Derek Ansley. I met Derek Ansley a couple times. Once when he was here the first time under Derek Dooley, and then I got a chance to meet him again when he returned as a defensive coordinator, just for a brief minute. And so I'm happy he's here, very happy he's here, and he will be calling the defense, something that Chris Lowe talked about yesterday, that Pruitt's going to give him that free reign, and he should. I mean, he's getting paid $1 million, so there's no point bringing someone in and pay them $1 million for you to only do the job for them. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the effect that Answer's going to have on this football team. Hour 1 of the Swain Event is brought to you by Hiller. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. 15,000 online reviews with the average of a 4.8 star rating. Really, really cool. A lady had some main line blockage in her home. Neither company was able to do anything when she called a few to come out and assess the damage and give her a price on how much it will give her a price on the repairs. The repairs were over $1,000, and she, like I would probably do too, was like, no, let's see if there's any other options out here that's cheaper. Well, she found an option that was cheaper. That was Hiller, and when she called them, Hiller arrived at her house within 30 minutes, and they fixed the issue under $400, and they were done fixing that issue in an hour. When they had this problem with their main line blockage, they could not use their bathrooms or their bathtub for over 3 days, and Hiller was able to fix that for them in an hour, and they saved $600. Other guys were charging $1,000 or more, and Hiller fixed it for $400. That's what you get with Hiller. They serve the Volunteer State, Memphis to Knoxville, including Bowling Green and Huntsville, Alabama. I was driving this weekend to the Mid-State and stopped off in Cookeville. stopped in Cookeville, and I think every restaurant ever is in that one exit off Cookeville, in Cookeville. Like, it's just every restaurant ever. And I was driving down that street, and to my right, I saw a building, and it said, Happy Hiller. I was like, how about that? Hiller's serving the good people here in Cookeville, too. So they cover the Volunteer State, Bowling Green, and Huntsville, Alabama. Let's get to the phones this morning. Let's get to Jay. Jay, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jay.
How are you this morning?
I'm great. You know what? When it's Jay, when you're calling, I'm going to let Ben introduce you because you only call when Ben is here, man. I'm kind of jealous, but it's okay. I'm happy for Ben's happiness.
Yes.
What's on your mind, Jay?
Who do you think will end up being the new women's coach?
Yeah, Jay, I don't really know right now. I mean, we've heard a name that is connected to Pat Summitt, a former player, and that is, and I remember this player. Golly, she was such a baller. Kelly Jolly Harper. I remember that pigtail, that one ponytail when she was here as a player. She was so feisty. She reminds me of like the women's version of like Bobby Hurley or Wojciechowski at Duke or something like that. A prestigious program, a feisty point guard. She really reminded me of that when she played here. But she's at Missouri State, and their AD confirmed that Tennessee has reached out and asked for permission to talk to her. She does not have the best resume as far as her last stop before Missouri State, but she got Missouri State in a tournament, and they've created some noise there in the tournament, beating some teams. So Coach Fulmer's certainly going to appease those Lady Vols that maybe want one of their own hired as the women's basketball coach. If I'm Coach Fulmer, this is what I do. I talk to every coach who's connected to Pat Summitt. Nikki Caldwell-Fargas. I talk to Kelly Jolly Harper. I talk to Nikki McCray. I talk to all of them before I make a move. Because if a move is made and it's not a former Vol, then no one can say, well, a former Vol was not given a chance. Remember, when the football coach was hired, T. Martin was not given a chance at all. He did not interview at all. I thought that was a mistake on our part.
Me too.
I thought that was a mistake on our part. Now you have an opportunity to at least hear what Kelly Jolly Harper, at least hear what Nikki Fargas Caldwell, to at least hear what Nikki McCray has to say about what they believe needs to happen to bring the Lady Vol program back to prominence. At least hear them out. At least hear. And who knows? You may get some ideas that you can use if you don't hire those people. So, looks like Coach Fulmer is doing that this time around. Tennessee has talked to Kelly Jolly Harper.
Okay.
Anything else, Jay?
See, what about, do you think they'll talk to Lawson?
Absolutely. Why would you not? Why would you not there, Jay? If you are Tennessee, you got Carrie Lawson. She's on your board. You talk to her and ask her what she thinks. I don't know if she has any I don't know if she really wants to coach or not. Why? I mean, you look at Jimmy Dykes, and he was having a perfectly fine career commentating games, and then he decided to jump into coaching, and it just wasn't for him. And then he left and got back into commentating for ESPN. I think he's one of the best, but Jimmy Dykes went through that. I'm pretty sure Carrie Lawson can gain some knowledge from talking to Jimmy, but Carrie Lawson hasn't made. Why would she want to get into coaching? Maybe she wants to help fix her program, but keep in mind, she hasn't coached. She hasn't coached at all.
I did see where yesterday, I believe it was Gene Henley of the Chattanooga Times Free Press, said that he had heard that Kara Lawson maybe wanted to stay within the media and not get in to coaching. You and I had this discussion at lunch yesterday about Kara Lawson because I think Kara Lawson would be a great hire. And although she is unproven in terms of coaching experience, I think she could communicate what she is teaching better or as good as just about anybody that Tennessee could bring in. I think that she just has that demeanor to her. And to me, what sells me on her is the fact that she is respected within the NBA world. I mean, she does play-by-play for Washington Wizards games and is well respected amongst the NBA. And because of her basketball IQ and the type of person she is and how she can communicate, what she is trying to teach and things of that nature. And so although she doesn't have any coaching experience, those tools that I see from the outside looking in, I think she would be a great fit as the next Lady Vols head coach. I just don't think it is going to happen because, like you said, I don't think that she wants to get into the coaching ranks, and I don't necessarily blame her for that.
Well, Dawn Staley didn't have any interest coaching when she was approached by Temple's AD back when she traded in her basketball shoes for a coaching outfit, I guess, or coaching whistle. But look where she is now. She started off at Temple, and she took over the South Carolina program in 2008. So I think it's a little bit different, though, because Dawn Staley was playing. Kara Lawson has a great job. Her and Rebecca Lobo, I look at as the kind of the face of women's basketball as far as commentating games and being the color. Tamika Catchings is doing a really good job. But when I think about best color ladies, I think about Rebecca Lobo and I think about Kara Lawson. And then also Kara Lawson has a great impact on the men's game. Her, Becky Hammond, and Doris Burke, those three, I think, get more respect than anyone in the men's game because they know their stuff, they do their job as well as any man in that business. And so she's in a good spot. She's in a sweet spot. I don't know if she wants to mess that up and coach and be in a high pressure situation where only her legacy can be tarnished. This is how I feel about former players coming back and coaching. Y'all want Peyton Manning back? I don't. I don't want him to coach because there's only one way his legacy can go, and that is down. That is down. There's more chances of him tarnishing his legacy than building on it because his legacy is pretty dang good right now. The only way he can build on that is win a championship, and that's hard to do. Very hard to do. And so, yeah, talk to Kara Lawson. I think you talk to her more of gathering information on what you think is important, gathering information on other programs. Kara Lawson covers so many other programs, travels to so many other programs. If you're Coach Fulmer, you better talk to Kara Lawson and find out what other programs are doing to be successful and copy them. That's when you talk to Kara Lawson. Not about coaching.
Would you call Gino?
Huh?
Would you call Gino?
If you Coach Fulmer?
Yeah.
No.
Just because he's a quote-unquote rival?
No. So he can use that to throw shade? No, I'm not calling.
I'm not talking about calling Gino to interview for the head coaching job. I'm talking about calling Gino to ask him about coaches within the women's ranks.
I don't know
because Gino's not coming to Tennessee.
I don't know the relationship between.
It's good enough.
Coach Fulmer and Gino, but Gino's the type of person that
sabotage.
That will air the fact that, oh yeah, Tennessee called us looking for help. Like he's that type of dude. He's so competitive and petty.
He would spin it like that.
Oh, he's so petty. So no, you don't need to talk to Gino. Why? Why? If you're Gino, why would you want to see Tennessee get back to where they should be and challenge you for a championship?
That's fair.
If I'm Gino, no, I wouldn't help Tennessee one bit.
Has Coach Fulmer called Dawn Staley yet?
I don't know, man.
I hope so.
I don't know. 865-255-03. Around the SEC is coming up next.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
It's freezing in here, Mary. What's wrong with your heater? The repairman can't get here till next week. Sugar, you've got the wrong guy. My guy is fast and has free heating service calls when he does the repair.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Hiller. Take advantage of a free service call with any repair.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
We're here with Dr. Mike Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, or instability, Achilles tendonitis, golfers, or tennis elbow, do what I did and give them a call.
Yeah, Jason, we specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged ligaments, tendons, and joints, including things like rotator cuff injuries, knee instability, elbow problems, as well as foot problems like plantar fasciitis, Achilles, things of that nature, by injecting with stem cells and what's called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma. And this form of treatment we do under ultrasound, so we know we have our target. And it also stimulates the body's own reparative process, and this allows for the healing of damaged tissue. And as you well know, numerous professional and collegiate athletes, guys like Steph Curry, Tiger Woods, and even yourself with your ankle injury, have been using this form of treatment for years. And so we offer that same type of treatment here in East Tennessee.
Visit them on the web at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in regenerative therapy.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event. Around the SEC, powered by 42nd Street Marketing, your game-winning play call for design, marketing, and branding.
I know you're ready for this, Ben. I know you've been waiting for Around the SEC to talk about this, because I have. Around the SEC is brought to you by 42nd Street Design. Go to their website at 42sd.com, or you can call Mike at 865-382-7007. Fill out their website form or give them a call. Feel confident that your brand was designed with the attention that it deserves. That is logo design, print design, and custom web design, just like the Swain Event. Ben, what do we have for Around the SEC today?
A couple of different things. We'll start over on West End talking about Vanderbilt basketball. Vanderbilt is reportedly in contract negotiations to make Memphis Grizzlies assistant Jerry Stackhouse the school's next men's basketball coach. Stackhouse is in his first season as an assistant with the Grizzlies after 3 seasons with the Raptors organization as an assistant coach and G League head coach. He's 44 years old, obviously a former NBA All-Star, had a very good NBA career. Vanderbilt has a new athletic director, Malcolm Turner, and Malcolm Turner and Stackhouse both attended North Carolina and Harvard, and before their current jobs, both worked in the NBA G League. Turner was the president of the G League there for a couple of years before he took over as athletic director at Vanderbilt, and during that time, Stackhouse was the head coach of the Toronto affiliate for the 2016-17 seasons, and he actually won Coach of the Year. I believe it was the 17 season in which he won Coach of the Year, so that's kind of where that tie-in comes into place. Jerry Stackhouse known for playing 18 years in the league with Detroit, the 76ers, the Wizards, the Mavs, the Bucks, the Heat, the Hawks, the Nets, everybody, and was in the NBA Finals with the Mavericks. When you saw this yesterday, what was your initial thought? Did you have one?
Yeah, I got plenty of thoughts. Number one, great marketing move for Vanderbilt to bring in a guy like Jerry Stackhouse. You look at Memphis and what they've done with Penny Hardaway. Now, it's a little bit different because Penny's from that city, and he went to Memphis, and Jerry Stackhouse went to North Carolina. But that name is going to get people's attention. And you look at a program right now, an athletic program, that just doesn't get the support that it deserves. Those players do not get the support they deserve. They've gone out and they've beat the big boys. In football, they've beaten us 3 times in a row. The basketball program before this year was competing, and they don't get the support they deserve. So you would hope Jerry Stackhouse could draw some support and get some people out there. So I get that from a marketing standpoint. Kids want to go to the league, so why not bring someone in that is from the league, and especially from the D League, that helps develop young players to possibly get to the NBA. So I get that, but it's funny because growing up, we were told that we need to do our homework, make good grades, because that's going to help you get a degree. And you got to have a degree. It's what you know. It's what you know. You got to know everything if you want to get a good job. But then you soon find out that it's not about what you know. It's about who you know. And this is a prime example. Vanderbilt's AD knows Jerry Stackhouse, and he's hiring his boy. And I don't have a problem with that if you trust and feel like he can do the job. I'm not mad. If I'm a longtime assistant coach, you can't really be upset because it's not like Jerry Stackhouse is coming from the streets.
No.
It's not like he's coming from being an AAU coach like Penny.
Right.
At least he's been an assistant coach in the NBA franchise.
And I don't even get the whole, oh, well, he's just hiring his boy and things of that nature. I won't say they worked together, but they were in the same field there for a couple of seasons. And who's to say that Malcolm Turner didn't see Jerry Stackhouse and what he was able to do working with the G League team of Toronto and really have faith and belief that he could be a really good basketball head coach.
Yeah.
And so that'll be interesting to see play out. John Calipari will be in Lexington for as long as he wants to be, as apparently he has agreed to a lifetime contract with Kentucky. Seth Davis had a report yesterday that Kentucky did offer John Calipari a lifetime contract, and then during Coach Cal's radio show, he confirmed that he had agreed to the lifetime contract. UCLA had reportedly made a 6-year, $48 million offer to Calipari, but he's already making $9.2 million per year, which I don't understand.
What are you doing, UCLA?
If you're UCLA and you're trying to pry him away,
why are you wasting his time?
Why are you going to give him a $1.2 million pay cut?
Hey, Calipari, we want to talk to you. We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. We're going to get you away from the team that you've already coaching. We're going to offer you less money.
It makes zero sense. And Apparently, when Coach Cal is done coaching at Kentucky, he's going to be an ambassador for the university. So that is another little nugget. I love that Coach Cal and Kentucky have agreed to a lifetime contract. 10 years, 1 national championship. Sign me up for that all day long.
UCLA did offer Coach Cal something in addition to the less than Kentucky's salary.
The pay cut.
But they offered him an opportunity to be with the program and university in a similar fashion, like an off the court ambassador type of role. But still, if you UCLA, you got to bring it. If you're trying to steal Coach Cal away, UCLA has really good choices right there in front of them. Why can't you just go out and hire Earl Watson, who's one of your own, who's a former NBA coach?
It'd be a nice hire.
Or you can hire Luke Walton, one of your own, who's a former NBA coach. He will be here in a couple of days. He's a Lakers coach, but he will be unemployed here in a couple of days. So
correct.
UCLA has a really, really nice list of guys with ties to the program. But you can't swing for the infield if you're UCLA. You got to swing for the fences. And that's kind of what they did not do with their offer to Coach Cal. But if you are Kentucky fans and watching Kentucky fans melt down over Kentucky losing and wanting to get rid of Cal lets you know that there's idiots in other fan bases too. It ain't just ours.
Not other, every fan base.
Correct, every fan base. I love our fan base. When you have a large group of people, the law of averages will tell you there's going to be some bad apples.
Yep.
There's going to be some that are just idiots. We have them. Alabama has them. Kentucky has them. Texas has them. Ohio State has them. Every large fan base has idiots. We have them, and Kentucky showed theirs after that loss on Sunday. Because who are you going to get, Kentucky fans, if you replace Coach Cal? Who do you think you are? You think you're going to get Coach K? Negative. You think you're going to get Tom Izzo? Negative. Who are you think you're going to get? Oh, you think you're going to get Bill Self? Negative. You're not going to get Roy Williams. Who are you going to get? So sit down, stop talking emotionally, and just hope that your coach does a better job next year.
You don't think Greg Popovich is going to lead the Spurs for Kentucky?
Because Greg Popovich will love to beg 17 to 60-year-old kids to come play for him.
Greg Popovich would probably kill somebody.
He would choke out a recruit.
Yes.
You want me to do what? You want me to do a dance for you to sign on a piece of paper?
Boy, please.
Get out of here. I ain't dancing for you. I just got done coaching Tim Duncan.
Kawhi Leonard.
And Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson.
Let's go to DR Vol. DR Vol, I'm disappointed in you, man. Disappointed. Good morning.
Hey, I'm disappointed myself. I started calling this DR Omar.
I was like, man, because I don't even have one of those posters, man. I've never really seen them since I think I was in one of those posters, those Men of Summer posters, where everybody who worked out all summer long, you take a pose together with your shirt off, and I didn't know who had those, and so when you hit me up, I was like, hey man, I think I have a picture, the poster when you played. I was like, cool, man. Send it over, man. I can put that in the office, which would be weird, but yeah, man, send it over. And then I looked at the 05 poster, and I was like, I don't see myself. I don't think I was in this one.
Oh, you know, when I first started listening to you, I guess on TSR, I was like, okay, yeah, Swain's on this poster, according to this poster. And I was like, I guess that's him. And then when I sent that across to you, you notice this guy? And you said, who? I was like, oh, come on, don't. I hate April Fool's jokes. And then I started to pull the, sorry, Swain, April Fool's.
Yeah, I was like, that's not me. That's Omar Gaither. So next time I see Omar, I'll have to tell him that we had someone that mistaken me for you, Omar. So we lit nothing alike, by the way.
I should have just pulled the April Fool's. I was like Terry. I couldn't back up then. I was committed.
That's right, man. That's right. You already signed the papers.
Yeah, exactly. When are we going to hear? I'm sure I guess it's May. About Bone and Williams' decision.
There is absolutely no telling. The NBA draft is not until the end of July. No, beginning of July probably. Sometime in July, I believe.
I just can't move forward with football till I know about them.
Well,
you can do it, man. You can do it. The draft is June 20th.
Oh,
yeah.
Earlier than I thought. I'd probably say end of April, end of the month.
I got you.
I guess we need to find out the cutoff of when you have to make a decision. I think that's probably the best way to do this is find out, okay, when do you have to declare and when is the cutoff? Because NFL, they have a cutoff of you have to let us know if you're leaving or staying.
60 days before the draft.
Okay.
Players who are not automatically eligible but wish to be drafted must declare their eligibility no later than 60 days before the draft.
So at the end of this month.
Yes, which is weird because Admiral made his decision when I was taking that class during mini term right after I graduated, which was May. I don't remember it being this early. I guess maybe they changed the rules.
I think both of them need to come back.
I'll tell you this. I do think if there's one bright spot to Tennessee losing in the Sweet 16, I think it helps Tennessee's chances with bringing back Jordan Bone and Grant Williams to quote-unquote take care of unfinished business.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when it happened, Ben. Try to find a bright spot in it. And I agree, especially with Josiah James coming out, obviously saying he's wanting to play with them.
Yep. Hey, man, Grant, you helped recruit Tennessee and bring in Josiah James. No, it will not be good if you talk to him about coming and play at Tennessee and then you just leave. Come on now, you got to stay so you can play with Josiah. Let Josiah score a point. Let him score a point because he did not score one in the McDonald's All-American game. Let him score a point, man. You can be the guy who helps him score his first point. The assist can come from Grant Williams. That needs to happen. And then Jordan Bone, I mean, you look at the NCAA tournament, man, and you compare that to his performances against Kentucky. It was different. So I would like to see Jordan Bone come back and really solidify himself as the best point guard in the country next year. I think both guys should come back, especially Grant Williams. Grant is 6'7". He's listed as 6'7", but I don't know if he's 6'7" or not. But he should come back and develop some more perimeter skills, and then leave next year.
I think I provided the good people with some fake news. So looking at the key dates for last year's kind of draft season, the 60 days out is when you have to declare that you are testing the waters. Okay. So like at the end of this month, if Jordan Bone and Grant Williams are going to go through the whole NBA draft process like Admiral did last year, they have to let that be known 60 days ahead of the draft.
Gotcha.
And then last year, the draft was on June 21st, and it looks like June 11th, 10 days before, was the withdrawal deadline.
Gotcha.
So we may not know until the very beginning of June whether or not for sure Jordan Bone and Grant Williams will be back.
Yeah, I think they should stay.
I think they should too, but they should 100% go through the draft process and talk to teams, work out for teams, and do all that fun stuff that Admiral did last year.
Yeah, I hope they come back, guys, so we can keep this train rolling. So,
too.
Steph, Omar, I got to get out of here and get my kid into school. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate that. I wish I was cool like Omar Gaither, who now lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. I remember those debates in the training room because our trainer graduated from Duke and also graduated from Tennessee. And then Omar was from North Carolina. It was weird because he was a Tennessee football player, but he represented North Carolina basketball too, and they would go back and forth arguing all the time. Good times. 865-255-03, B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. Yeah, DR Vol called me Omar Gaither. So I've been mistaken for Albert Hainsworth in public, and I have been mistaken for Omar Gaither so far.
Yeah, You don't look anything like Omar.
You trying to say I look like Hainsworth?
I mean, you don't look like Hainsworth either. You look like Jason Swain. You look like your own person. You don't have a twin like Steph Curry.
Oh, my gosh. 865-255-03, B-Drive Waterproofing Hotline. Sheesh. Who we got there?
Volstorm.
Volstorm, good morning.
Well, I guess being called Omar Gaither's a lot better than being called Albert Hainsworth.
Well, I don't know, man. Hainsworth, he's pulled some nice looking ladies in his day. So I don't know.
Hasn't he lost weight too?
Last time I saw him, he looked like he can still stump on a offensive lineman's head and still play.
Well, I think when somebody called you that, he was a lot heavier. So
yeah, I don't know, man. Thanks a lot. I think I'm having a salad for lunch. Or how about no lunch? Yeah, I'm not having lunch at all.
Swain, we need to talk about your boy Ben.
Yeah, let's do that.
Apparently he's picked up one of your bad habits.
What habit is this, Volstorm?
Well,
I do like to eat barbecue a lot.
That habit of yours where you accidentally pick a fight on Twitter.
Yeah. He's learning from the best. I'm his mentor.
That's obvious. There ain't nothing like this one kid that's trying to start something with Ben. Going back and attacking his past tweet.
I think it's hilarious.
Who does he think he is? Ball Twitter?
Yeah, I think it's hilarious because like I jumped on Twitter just to kind of get an update on what's going on, and then I see Ben. I'm looking at my timeline and my mentions. I'm like, my goodness, Ben's in this deep debate with this Auburn fan, and I think it's hilarious because out of everyone in Knoxville, Ben has been on the Auburn train more than anybody, and has been in arguments about how Auburn is actually good and will be good this year. And he's defended Auburn more than anybody, like anybody in this entire town, maybe in this entire state, except for Governor Bill Lee. But he has defended Auburn to no end. And,
in both sports.
Huh?
In both sports.
I have not defended the Auburn football team.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You worried about the Auburn game when you went down there.
You didn't have a good feeling about it? You did have a good feeling about the game, didn't you?
I had a good feeling about it.
Yeah.
I didn't really trust my feeling, but I had a good feeling about it because of all the stuff going on, the external factors surrounding that game.
This is Ben. You have to learn lessons about arguing with bums. You can't argue with bums. If someone pulls an old quote of yours or an old article where you're talking about how the team is playing at that time, and the team is playing either good or bad at that time, and they try to pull up an old article and they have changed the way they've played to try to fit their narrative or agree with their point, you can't waste your time. At a time, Auburn was playing really bad.
At the time that I said the things that I said.
Correct. They were playing really bad. And at the time, they were the most disappointing team in the country because they always had this ability that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks. They always had it. But they lost 7 regular season games. They were getting beat by teams they shouldn't have lost to.
They lost 9, I think.
Nine losses. And they looked uninterested at times.
They got blown out by 30-something on the road at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And that's when I made that comment.
Yeah, so this guy's like, look at us now, and you were wrong. No, dude. Ben was right then, and they started playing better now. That's
really, I was double right because I was right at the time. And then I've been saying all year that, Auburn's going to be a good basketball team, so I was double right?
But it's fake news, Volstorm, saying that you picked fights because you didn't do that,
man. I did not pick that one.
Now, he picked a fight in true Jason Swain fashion.
Oh, what happened? How did he do that?
No, by not really picking the fight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Minding your own business, and then someone comes for you, and then you go ahead and set them straight. And then it looks like you're actually the one who picked the fight.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a call from a good friend of mine when I was going back and forth with a former Knoxville beat writer, who was kissing up to Butch Jones the whole time while he was here. And I got a phone call from someone. They were like, man, don't ever wrestle with the pig because you're going to get dirty too. And I was like, good point. I'm getting on Twitter right now.
And the pig likes it.
Correct. And so sometimes you don't want to argue with a fool because from a distance, it's hard for someone to tell who is who.
Look, all I'm going to say is this little dweeb that was bugging me on Twitter last night, he better pray and hope that these wins at Auburn don't get vacated. He better pray and hope, or I'm going to be in his mentions for as long as I exist on Twitter.
He's gonna get off Twitter if that happens.
See, you just need to learn to end your arguments like Swain. Just be like, okay, cool, GBO.
Yep.
This is true.
Yep. Tom Herman style, man. What I say is, okay, cool. Or I say, all right, man, have a good night. I'm not gonna sit there and argue with somebody who's making 0 cents.
No.
Like my guy who continues to criticize Coach Fulmer and wants to get rid of Coach Fulmer because of Lady Ball basketball and is so critical of Coach Fulmer. Like, you can't really criticize Coach Fulmer right now. Like, he did what we didn't think he would probably do, and that's fire Holly Worley. He did it. And he made a decision in bringing in Jeremy Pruitt that I'm pretty sure he had to kind of, bite his own tongue, and that's hiring a Bammer. But he did what he thought was best for Tennessee football. That is on his mind first and foremost. And he's doing a pretty good job right now. Hour 2 coming up. Thanks, Vol Storm. Be right back.
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Today looks to be mostly sunny with a 20% chance of rain and a high of 61. Mostly clear tonight with a low of 38. More sunshine tomorrow with a high near 69 and a low around 45. More of the same on Thursday with a high in the upper 70s. Weather on the Swain Event is brought to you by Be Dry. If your basement is wet or cracked, Be Dry can help. BeDry.com.
Touchdown or turnover is up next on the Swain Event.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to OFOKnox.com. That's OFOKnox.com.
We now return to the program. It's A Debtful Life.
2 auto loans, 6 credit cards. Sometimes I wish I'd never taken out all this debt.
Oh, you should never say that, especially since Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt.
Who are you? Are you an angel?
Close. I'm a loan officer at Alcoa 10.
Teacher said that whenever you hear cha-ching, someone refinance a loan at Alcoa 10.
Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong. Equal housing lender.
Touchdown or turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Touchdown turnover backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong. Better rates and better service. 850 AM, 100.9 FM. Rocky Top Sports is where you can find us on the dial. Ben McKee, Jason Swain here with you. It is 3 minutes past the top of the hour. We will be joined by Austin Price of VolQuest.com at 9:15. But first, we have touchdown or turnover. Do we see Grant Williams and do we see Jordan Bone both return? Do we see? I know it's early, but go for it. Give it a shot. Do we see both guys return?
I say touchdown. I'm with you in the sense of Grant Williams. Well, I want to say that he needs to return, but based off some mock drafts, I mean, they have him going in the first round. And if you're Grant Williams and you go through this draft process and you have multiple teams that you work out for, say that they would take you in the first round, do you come back to school? Because sure, there are more things that he can accomplish in his his college career, such as being a 3-time winner of SEC Player of the Year.
Oh, you said it right the first time. He is a professional.
He is a professional. You're right. But I don't know how much his stock would improve if he is projected to go late in the first round. He's not going to be a mid-first round pick at any point or a lottery pick because he is a bona fide college basketball player, and the NBA does not fall in love with guys like that. The NBA does not love drafting 4-year guys. That they love drafting those 18, 19-year-olds that have all the potential in the world, all the athleticism in the world, and that just isn't Grant Williams. So if Grant thinks that he is going to be drafted in the late first round, like there's a 70, 80% chance of it, why not leave? I don't know how much his stock would improve in terms of bumping that late first round pick to a mid first round pick if he came back for his senior year. So that does worry me, but I do 100% believe that Grant Williams is a kid that truly loves being in college, loves being a part of Tennessee basketball, being around Rick Barnes, being around his teammates, and I do think that is going to ultimately bring him back to school. And while I don't think Grant Williams' stock can necessarily go up in terms of where he's drafted in the first round, I do believe Jordan Bone's stock can definitely go up if he comes back and has another great year in terms of assists to turnovers like he did this year. He improves on his jump shot. He improves on his three-point shot. We all know he is capable of making three-point shots, but he needs to do it at more of a consistent rate, because if Jordan Bone can get that shot to where it's absolute money, can you imagine trying to defend Jordan Bone? Because not only do you have to take into consideration that, okay, this guy can shoot it lights out from the perimeter, he can also drive right past you. And nobody in the draft is going to be quicker or be faster in the open court than Jordan Bone, in my opinion. And so with all that taken into consideration, I do think he comes back and his stock can go up, because right now I don't see him in the first or second round in any mock drafts. So obviously right now he is projected to go undrafted unless there's one team that just buys into him. But I do believe Jordan Bone coming back another season would ultimately really help his draft stock. So I'll say touchdown. I think both come back.
I agree. I think both will come back. I think Grant Williams has a chance to improve his draft stock, because you look at the NBA, and this is a good thing for Grant. This is a really good thing for Grant. Years and years ago, the Philadelphia 76ers took the undersized power forward that was athletic and run. The wing could shoot from the outside, was explosive around the basket, and could create space with his body. That was Charles Barkley. And Charles Barkley developed an outside game later kind of in his career when he joined the Phoenix Suns and was really a threat outside shooting the basketball. I see Grant Williams being that. I see Grant Williams possibly can being a Draymond Green for Tennessee next year. A guy that can make open shots. You know, sports at this level, sometimes a copycat league. Why can't Tennessee, Now, I'm not saying that Tennessee needs to abandon what they did this year. They won 31 games, but Tennessee can be like Auburn. Tennessee can have 4 guys on the outside that can shoot. Grant Williams can shoot. He can work on his J even more and be even more reliable behind the 3. Look at the improvement that Admiral Schofield had, in his time at Tennessee. Look how Rick Barnes was able to change Kevin Punter's shot. And he was a good 3-point shooter, his last year. So I can see Grant Williams developing an outside game where he can shoot from the corners and be really consistent like a former Rick Barnes player and P.J. Tucker. Look at P.J. Tucker with the Houston Rockets, man. He makes things go. He makes things go. He's tough as nails. He plays really good defense, and he spreads the floor because he can shoot the corner 3-pointer. I can see Grant Williams being able to do that if he stays another year, develops a jump shot. You add that with Jordan Bone, another year in the program, another year where everything has clicked for him, and he's playing super fast. Another year with Lamonte Turner. I really feel like Lamonte should have more freedom, more of a green light, not like Carson Edwards, but he should have more of more freedom to go get his own shot. He's going to be a senior. He's going to be even a better defender.
A 5th-year player, not just a senior.
So I can see this team really benefiting, of course, with Grant Williams coming back, but Grant Williams benefiting a ton if he comes back and develops a jump shot to really, really extend his game. And that is something that we're seeing in the NBA. There's more 3 shot. There's more emphasis put on spreading the floor. Guys are getting smaller, and this benefits Grant Williams. I think he can improve his draft stock, but I do think both guys will stay.
Yeah, my concern with Grant isn't necessarily on the offensive end. It's more so on the defensive end. How does he defend guys that are much longer than him? Because when Grant has struggled in his college career, it has been against guys with great length, which is why P.J. Washington has given him problems at times. And then how does Grant defend when he's out in space? Grant is a very smart basketball player. I believe that is his greatest attribute as a college basketball player is his basketball IQ. But when he gets out there in space, I don't necessarily think that he's the quickest guy. And it is hard for him at times to keep people in front of him. Although he did have a couple of times this season where he was able to keep the opponent's guard in front of him, but he also had his fair share of times where he was blown by. And so
that's why I'm not back.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that he's going to be matched up with point guards in the league, but even against your quicker wing guys like Jordan Bowden, Grant at times has had a problem keeping those guys in front of him. So that is my biggest question with Grant, because Grant is so creative and so crafty on the offensive end. I think his offensive game will just naturally be productive, and he is so much more than a scorer. Everybody wants to look at the 19, 20 points per game, but Grant is a tremendous passer.
Yes.
He sees the court so well. He sees things before it happens, sometimes to his own detriment. And he's great at getting his teammates involved. He is a good rebounder when he wants to be. So I think Grant will naturally be productive on the offensive end. It's just when he is facing these elite athletes at the next level, is he able to be on par with those guys and keep up with those guys, in my opinion.
Yeah. Shooting, I think, will allow him to be able to do that. He's already able to bring the ball up the court. He's already trusted in the middle of the floor with the ball in his hands to either drive or dish to shooters. We've seen that all season long. I look forward to seeing Grant's game evolve, and I think it will, because it's hard to outwork guys inside the Rick Barnes program. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Swain Events fueled by Dead End BBQ. Speaking of Dead End BBQ, man, oh man. Man, oh man. Yesterday, I was not feeling it at all. And I'm just going to be honest with you right here and right now. I was not feeling it at all. Our family is dealing with a death real close to our family. A friend that was really close to our family who was shot and killed on Sunday. We got word out of town Sunday morning and it's been heavy on our hearts. We've been really struggling with the news, and it's been tough. It's really been tough. This young lady's a friend of ours. Our kids played together, and it's been emotional in a huge way. And so, apologize for the show yesterday. It's not what I consider a good Swain Event show, but we've been struggling, and kind of news been coming out about that incident on the local news. But I wasn't gonna say anything yesterday. I mean, now it's out, but really close friend of ours to the Swain family. So next weekend, Orange and White, and I've not got a chance to see the Jawan Jennings video. So during the break, I will check out this Jawan Jennings video. Tennessee posted this message on Twitter yesterday. Are you going to miss the first game of Jawan Jennings' senior year? No, because you'll be at Chevrolet Orange and White game on April the 13th at 6 p.m. I like it. You tell people what to do. That's right. Why? Because people are used to being told what to do, especially if you are a husband and if you are an employee. You're used to being told what to do.
Or a fiance.
Yeah, right. You have no clue how things are going to change when you are officially a husband. You think you know, but you have no idea. It will change.
I know it will change, but I'm still told what to do now.
Yeah. Take that and times it by 10. You will be told what to do even more.
Sure.
So this is great. Tell people that they're coming to the game, and they will come to the game. I got to check out this Jawan Jennings video. I get pumped every time I hear Jawan Jennings talk about Tennessee football. Hour 2 continues after this.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
We're here with Dr. Mike Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, or instability, Achilles tendonitis, golfers, or tennis elbow, do what I did and give them a call.
Yeah, Jason, we specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged ligaments, tendons, and joints, including things like rotator cuff injuries, knee instability, elbow problems, as well as foot problems like plantar fasciitis, Achilles, things of that nature, by injecting with stem cells and what's called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma. And this form of treatment we do under ultrasound, so we know we have our target. And it also stimulates the body's own reparative process, and this allows for the healing of damaged tissue. And as you well know, numerous professional and collegiate athletes, guys like Steph Curry, Tiger Woods, and even yourself with your ankle injury, have been using this form of treatment for years. And so we offer that same type of treatment here in East Tennessee.
Visit them on the web at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in regenerative therapy.
Top 100 Barbecue Restaurant Dead End BBQ is the best place in Knoxville to scratch your barbecue itch. With new specials and a new menu, there is something for everyone. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, try the Smokehouse Stew. Thursday through Sunday, the Hillbilly Chili is where it's at. Don't forget the half-price wings on Tuesdays from 4 to 8 p.m. and the salmon plate on Friday. The people spoke and Dead End listened, adding Dead End Society favorites like the Bernie Mac, Randall's Kitchen Sink Burrito, and the Barbecue Cheddar Meatloaf to the menu full time. Whether it's a game day or any day, at Dead End BBQ, the mouth-watering barbecue search is over.
We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost that it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740
and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today.
Are you ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Then call me, Jennifer Morris, with Keller Williams Realty at 865-694-5904. Listen to what the Townsend family had to say.
After having listed our home with another agent, Jennifer's marketing approach was a breath of fresh air. She priced our home competitively, strategized the best time to list, and began planning our open house. She aggressively negotiated with the buyer and kept us informed during the entire process. Jennifer took away the stress of selling our home, and we would not hesitate to use her again in the future.
Are you ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Then call me, Jennifer Morris, with Keller Williams Realty at 865-694-5904.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
It's freezing in here, Mary. What's wrong with your heater? The repairman can't get here till next week. Sugar, you've got the wrong guy. My guy is fast and has free heating service calls when he does the repair.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Hiller. Take advantage of a free service call with any repair.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
If you aren't following the Swain Event on Twitter, then are you even on Twitter? Hit that follow button. It's the right thing to do.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End BBQ, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Man, the Bernie Mac skillet is what you need in your life. Yesterday was a tough day for the Swain family, as we experiencing a death, close friend, close family friend, and I was telling Ben, I was like, man, after the show, I was like, dude, I need an hour or two. I'm about to just lay it down and just try to recuperate from traveling all weekend and emotionally being drained. And then I got a text message from the one person that could make me change my plans, and that was Chris Lofton. He was like, hey, you want to go Dead End? Yeah, man, let's do it. So Chris Lofton and I, we went to Dead End BBQ, and man, time flies when you're sitting there and having fun, chit chatting about Tennessee basketball and football, and really, really, really good times there. But everyone across the table got the Bernie Mac skillet, and I encourage you to do the same. That is pimento mac and cheese, barbecue, burnt ends, topped with a spicy wing sauce, scallions, and a side of chow chow. Really, really, really good stuff there. And so we chopped it up, had a good time, and had some Dead End BBQ. 865-200-5503. I want to take a look at the text box this morning. Knoxville Mike says, Ben and Swain, can you guys give me your top 5 SEC in the following? Staff recruiters, coaching abilities, recruiting and coaching. Okay.
Number one in staff recruiters, I mean, obviously Alabama. How can you not go Alabama?
Yeah, even though most of those guys are new, I mean, how can you not go Alabama? Because it's not just about about the assistant coaches that help in recruiting.
Yeah, and at this point, as long as Nick Saban is running the ship, it doesn't matter what assistants that you have. And then, now here's where it gets interesting. Who do you go as number 2? Do you go LSU? I'd almost go A&M.
I'm going Georgia.
Georgia right now? Well, then A&M is right behind them, unless you're going LSU. LSU, Georgia, it's like Alabama on a tier by itself, and then LSU, Florida, Georgia, A&M, maybe Auburn in that second tier.
Yeah, I'm going Georgia. I'm going Georgia second. I like the A&M pick.
If Jimbo has a really good year this year, and I'm not saying really good year in the sense of winning a national championship or even making it to Atlanta. There's still work that needs to be done before A&M gets to a realistic point to where they should be in Atlanta. I think next year is that year. But they have the possibility of winning 9-10 games this year. And if they can win 9 or 10 games, maybe 11th in a bowl game, I think recruiting is going to skyrocket for Jimbo.
Listen, I've said it for, a year and a half now?
They're a sleeping giant.
Yeah, the A&M was coming. And I remember when Charlie was on the show, he kind of laughed it off. No, Jimbo is not all that. Yes, he is. He is one of the few coaches who can say he's won national championship. I think there's, 3 of them?
Saban, Jimbo, and Dabo.
3. There's 3 right now. College football.
Well, no, because Les Miles and Mac Brown are back in the game.
That's right.
So 5. But 3 that are at places that can win a national championship.
Yeah. So Jimbo is good. Now, he did let the wheels fall off at Florida State, but let's not sit here and go, oh, well, he's the worst now. You're either the best or you're the worst. You can't be anywhere in between. Jimbo is really good. And Jimbo built Florida State up when Bobby Bowden was kind of at the end of his career, and that thing was falling apart. Remember, Bobby Bowden was winning only 7-8 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jimbo took over and then elevated the program, out-recruited Miami, out-recruited Florida there, and at one time had more players getting drafted in Alabama during the stretch.
Won a national championship, like we just said.
Yeah, so with more resources, more support, he is coming. Like, he is coming.
I'm glad that they are in the West.
Yeah, he's coming. I got to go probably A&M and then 3rd and then LSU, I guess, 4th or whatever. And I know now some Mike is kind of wondering where Tennessee sits and everything. And on paper, Tennessee looks like a top 5 SEC recruiting staff. When you add T. Martin and when you add Derek Ansley. But let's see what happens. I mean, it's more than just – it takes an entire organization to recruit very well. It takes everyone being on the same page to recruit very well. And Tennessee did a pretty good job this year, but Tennessee needs to do a better job because A&M is coming. Georgia's going to continue to do what they're doing.
Florida is coming.
Florida is recruiting better than what I thought they would recruit under Dan Mullen. But that goes to show you that it's not just about the coaches. It's the entire organization. And so if it was just coaches going out and recruiting, Pruitt would out-recruit Dan Mullen all day long because he has more cachet. He's less weird than Dan Mullen. But it's not just about coaches. It's about an entire organization, everyone being on the same page. And so Florida's going to be successful in recruiting, especially with Florida State being down. I don't know what Willie Taggart down there doing, and especially with right now Miami struggling, but Miami's coming.
The Miami situation, when you relate it to the Florida schools, is kind of like what you were talking about when Butch Jones kind of had a head start on Georgia, had a head start on Florida. That's kind of how Miami is right now. They're a lap behind Florida. They have some ground to make up before they catch up with Florida.
They'll pass Florida State, and they'll recruit better because Manny Diaz gets it.
He reminds me of Jeremy Pruitt in terms of how he relates with the players. In terms of Tennessee's recruiting staff, how you mentioned that Knoxville Mike is asking because he wants to know kind of where Tennessee sits. I think Tennessee's staff is capable of going out and getting just about anybody in the country. I do believe that Tennessee's staff is maybe capable of beating Alabama for a guy. We've already seen it. We've already seen that with Dominic Wood Anderson, with Darnell Wright, with Henry To'oTo'o. Tennessee is capable of beating out Auburn. We saw that with Wanye Morris. Tennessee is capable of beating out Georgia for a guy, as is the case. I'll say LSU, but it kind of depends on where that player is. If he's within the state of Louisiana, no. But if it is outside of the state of Louisiana, I do think Tennessee head-to-head could beat out LSU for a guy just because of the recruiters on staff. The biggest thing hurting Tennessee right now is the brand name Tennessee. Because right now when these recruits hear Tennessee, Tennessee is not at all on the same level as when you hear LSU, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida. It hurts to say, but I do think that is a big part of it right now. Tennessee could really help itself by almost rebranding itself by having some positive seasons pile up and stack those up, because I think that would go a long ways in helping this great recruiting staff that Tennessee has.
I think if it was 10 recruits from the state of Georgia that Tennessee and Georgia was on, I think Tennessee can probably get 3, but Georgia would get 7. I don't think Tennessee's going to win many Georgia-Tennessee battles head-to-head right now. And here's why. See, we know a lot more about Tennessee's fan base and resources and everything. Why? Because we've been Tennessee fans for longer than a year or a year and a half or even 2 years. Even 2 years. See, these recruits, they see Tennessee from the outside looking in, while we see Tennessee from the inside looking in. From the inside. And so these recruits, they have every team in the SEC looking at them. And to them, they can sit here and say, man, everyone has really good facilities.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has a really good coaching staff that has had success getting guys in the NFL. But it's that small little detail that's going to make the difference. And that small detail could be winning.
Yep.
Well, I can get to the NFL from anywhere. But I want to get to the NFL playing on big platforms. I want to play in Atlanta for an SEC championship game. Man, I want to be the next Justin Ross or Trevor Lawrence or Tua Tagovailoa. I want to make plays in a national championship game because I know I can get to the league by picking any one of these top 10 schools because these coaches have coached NFL players. But the separator, the separator is where can I win and be on primetime ESPN? I want to win too. And so that's where Tennessee has to get into the party of winning more to line up with other staffs as far as recruiting. Now, coaching abilities, Dr. Mike wants to know about. That's tough because that goes hand in hand with recruiting abilities.
Right.
You look better as a coach when you have better players.
Right. The one thing I'll say, though, is like I would put LSU ahead of Florida in terms of recruiting, but I would put Florida ahead of LSU in terms of coaching. I mean, Chris Lowe said it yesterday when we had him on the show. Dan Mullen, what he did last year was a tremendous coaching job. I did not see a 10-win season coming from Florida last year. And what he was able to do with Felipe Franks, and yes, Felipe Franks was up and down all year long, but Felipe Franks had some swagger to him by the end of the season and was playing with a lot of confidence. So that is one change that I would probably make in terms of when you're looking at a staff's recruiting ability and coaching ability. I would throw Florida up there in the top 3, top 4 right now, today.
Yeah, I think trying to rank coaching abilities is really tough because, again, that goes hand in hand with recruiting abilities. The teams that recruit the best will look better as coaches. You can,
unless you're Auburn, you
can tell who got outcoached and who messed up with talent when you do have an Auburn situation. I was getting ready to use basketball. Coach Izzo outcoached Coach K in the Elite Eight. Bruce Pearl outcoached Calipari in the Elite Eight.
He absolutely did.
You can tell when you have those examples of a team with superior talent and losing to a team without talent. Jeremy Pruitt outcoached Gus Malzahn last year, but Will Muschamp outcoached Jeremy Pruitt last year.
Yep.
So
did Derek Mason.
Correct. So it's hard to really rank staffs on coaching abilities.
Yes.
It's really hard because all of it ties back into recruiting.
Yeah, but there are staffs that you trust more to develop the players once they arrive on campus than others, such as Auburn. Like Auburn brought in a great recruiting class. You look at Owen Papo, a big-time Tennessee target that ultimately signed with Auburn as an early enrollee. He's turning heads at Auburn right now in spring practice, but will Auburn's coaches use him properly? I have more faith in Auburn's defensive coaches, but, I mean, had George Pickens gone to Auburn, I mean, who's to say that he doesn't live up to the hype because of what Auburn has done in the past with previous big-time receivers that have gone in there?
The staff that's probably done more with less in this last season probably is Missouri.
Yeah, and I would say Mullen at Florida and also take into consideration what he did at Mississippi State, because it was within the realms of the SEC, and he did bring over a lot of guys from Mississippi State.
I'm saying last year.
Last year, yeah, Missouri or Florida. Because like I said, I did not.
Florida still had talent though. I mean,
yeah, but nobody did. We
still recruited. They still recruited pretty dang well. They still had some really good players on that team.
Absolutely,
and they had some guys who are NFL guys. I mean, Missouri has for the last 8 years taken guys that the top tier SEC programs won't take, and they've had success. I mean, they have. Missouri does a great job of developing players. I mean, they beat our butt this past season. So, I mean, it changes from season to season. Last year, I would have to say Missouri probably did more with less in the whole conference. Now, Kentucky, listen, they had a bunch of guys go to the combine. So they did a good job of developing those guys over 2 or 3 years. Still lost to Tennessee. Best Kentucky team ever.
They did.
I would have to go Missouri is a team who probably did more with less in the conference.
Kentucky is one of those schools, kind of like Mississippi State for me, or not Mississippi State. Who did I say a minute ago? Florida for me. That they may not be at the very top in terms of ranking the recruiting staff or whatnot, but in terms of coaching staffs and developing players and coaching the players up, Kentucky is much higher on that list than their recruiting staff would be.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Stoops, I mean, it didn't look all that bright year 1, year 2, and a portion of year 3, but Mark Stoops has done a really good job at Kentucky, and there's not many coaches, football coaches, that can say that.
Going to the text box this morning, Pastor Mike in Cookeville says, Ben mentioned in a tweet that Tennessee has interest in MSU coach. Please tell me this is not true. That will not get the Lady Vols back. And yes, every restaurant is on Interstate Drive in Cookeville. What Pastor Mike talking about? Your
well, it was
Mississippi State,
the Missouri State. There was, and it just to clear, I did tweet about it last night, but I'm not the one that I didn't break news or anything. I just kind of quote tweeted the tweet from Wyatt Wheeler. He put out information that said Tennessee Lady Vols have interest in Missouri State Lady Bears coach Kelly Harper, athletic director, confirms. And I quote tweeted it and said that simply based off the resume, this would be an underwhelming hire. That is my opinion. She's been at Missouri State for 6 years now, has made 2 NCAA tournament appearances. She's 41 years old, fairly young. She is a former Lady Vol, was the starting point guard on the 96, 97, 98 national championship teams from Sparta, Tennessee. She was at NC State for, I believe it was 4 years, and that did not go so well. She was 70-64 with just 1 NCAA tournament appearance in 4 seasons. So I believe, based off the resume, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, she would be a terrible hire. There's no way of knowing. Maybe once she got to the Lady Vols program, had the resources that the Lady Vols provide, maybe she would, hit a grand slam. So I'm not going to say that I definitively know, but based off the resume, compared to who I think the Lady Vols are capable of getting, I believe that this would be an underwhelming hire.
You know what? I got to challenge you on that. I got to ask you a question. What does the Lady Vol program need that they did not have in the last couple of years under Holly Warlick?
I would say they need a coach that is going to be stern with them, but show them that motherly love, a Pat Summitt of sorts.
So
somebody that's going to be disciplined and not allow them to get away with pretty much anything that they want to.
I'm letting you know what I'm doing right now. I'm poking holes in the we need a name narrative. We need a big name. We need a big name. Because that was the narrative 2 years ago during the coaching search when Coach Fulmer was looking for a football coach.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what we've seen inside the program leading up to the search for a head coach, we saw a program that had dysfunction inside of it. We saw a culture that was toxic. We saw talent. You can look at the NFL draft over the last couple of years. Guys like Dobbs, Jalen Reeves-Maven, Cam Sutton, all these boys getting drafted and having success in the NFL, we know we had talent, but we know that wasn't the problem. The problem was the head coach and the culture that he allowed to take place. We saw a assistant coach go on to Mississippi State and be a finalist for the Frank Broyles Award for the top assistant in the country, and Bob Shoop. When he was here, Bob Shoop, according to some people, was the worst defensive coordinator ever. And then he magically learned how to be a defensive coordinator in a year at Mississippi State. Well, there's a reason why it looked that way. It was the culture. Another example, in 1 year, Jerry Garantano looked like the best teammate ever when he was always right next to Joshua Dobbs, supporting him, helping him, assisting him. But in a year, now he's the worst teammate ever, and he's pouting on the sideline, and he's selfish. Well, the guys didn't change. Shoop didn't change. Dobbs didn't change. It was the culture. And so when I said that Tennessee didn't need a big name to go out and get a football coach, but they needed a real football coach that was a good person and that Tennessee would be okay, Coach Fulmer felt like they found that in Jeremy Pruitt. And all signs point to it working out so far. I don't know what's going to happen this season. I don't know what's going to happen next season. But all signs point to that's what we have. That's what we have right now, because the players are buying in, the coaches are being attracted from other top programs. Chaney, T. Martin, you brought in Derek Ansley, so it appears that way. Well, Tennessee football was in a worse state than the Lady Vols basketball program right now.
Way worse,
because the Lady Vol basketball program, they already have talent. They already have a third recruiting class that will be top 5 coming in. So it appears that the Lady Vol program, all they need is a coach that the players trust and can coach. That looks like that's all they need.
I would say the roster does need some fine tuning. Yes, the roster is very talented, but it lacks a post presence, and it does lack some shooting. So the roster does need some fine tuning, but a coach should come in and 100% make it to the NCAA tournament, and then assuming the roster stays as it is, I mean, Avina Westbrook, junior point guard, Renai Davis, a junior who is an all-SEC type player, and then you do have 4 freshmen that played this year. They'll practically be juniors next year because they played so much as a freshman, but they'll have another year of experience under their belt. So the coach should take them to the NCAA tournament and maybe make a Sweet 16 run. And I agree with you. The Lady Vols don't have to hire a big name, but my point was that the resume still doesn't look good. You can hire a good coach with a better resume without the big name. It's kind of all that I'm saying.
I understand that. And so when you are making this decision, if you're Coach Fulmer and the decision makers or the powers that be, you have to determine, is this resume that is maybe unappealing to you or does not get you excited? Is this resume the way it is because they don't have the resources, and you feel like with resources that Tennessee has that this person can be successful? You have to determine that, because people looked at Dan Mullen and said, I don't know, man. Maybe he just capped out at Mississippi State. But we saw that with more resources, he can be successful, and he's just a really good coach. We saw with Dino Babers that he had success at Bowling Green, but just with a little bit more of resources, he could be better. And look what he did at Syracuse. We know that if Dino Babers got an SEC job or a big-time football job, that, oh, yeah, he would definitely be really, really good because he's already proven that he can do that. I wonder if a Kelly Harper with Tennessee Lady Vol resources, could she be great?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a great question. It's like I said earlier. Theoretically, she could come in and with all the Lady Vol resources and hit a grand slam. So that's why if she were to be hired, I'm not going to say, oh, that's a terrible hire. There's no way of knowing until 3 or 4 years down the road. My only thing is the resume is underwhelming.
Yes.
When you compare what she did at NC State to what Wes Moore, who coached at Maryville College and at UTC for many, many years, what he's doing at NC State right now is much more impressive. Back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances, 4 appearances in the tournament in general, he's been way more successful than Kelly Harper. The way I kind of look at it is, if Kelly Harper wasn't a former Lady Vol, would she be a candidate? And I think the answer is no.
I think you are right. I think we can sit here and agree and say that the initial feeling and initial reaction would be, oh, this is an underwhelming hire initially. Right. But that does not mean that a coach cannot be successful.
Correct.
If they're given the right resources to be successful. You're at NC State, and maybe at the time you were not the coach that you are today. Maybe you did not have the resources that Wes Moore is allowed to have now. There's a lot of factors that kind of play into it. It's a good thing that we're not the AD or we are not the decision makers, because they have to find that out. If they're going to make a hire that is not a big name or is not a person that has a immaculate resume or track record, then you have to sell that to your boosters and donors, and you have to sell that to yourself to make sure that you make the right hire long term. It's a big move. It's a big move. This is why this is how Coach Fulmer is going to really earn his paycheck as an AD. It won't be going to football practice and chopping it up on the sideline with the boosters and donors and all the buddies and having a good time. That's part of the job too.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Fulmer does that better than anyone. He's a politician, but he's also going to have to make tough decisions like he's already made with getting rid of Holly Warlick and making sure that it's done in a way that does not divide the Lady Vol former players. And now he has to go out and get a person that everyone's going to rally around, and that's going to be successful.
I'll say this, and I know I'm in the minority in terms of watching the women's tournament. I've watched the Elite Eight games over the weekend with Baylor and Connecticut and Mississippi State and Oregon, and in watching those games, I did feel a sense of excitement as somebody who does care about the Lady Vols program, of the potential of Tennessee getting back to where it belongs, and Tennessee playing in Elite Eight games and making it to the Final Four. I got excited watching what Tennessee should and could and can be and will be going forward. So it's turning a new chapter, but an exciting chapter with the Lady Vols program, because they should be playing this weekend in the Final Four and over the weekend in the Elite Eight. And I'm excited for the Lady Vols to get back to where they belong, because sure, women's basketball may not be as popular as men's basketball, but it is very cool to see the Lady Vols program and the fans show up and show out when the Lady Vols have it rolling.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. 865-250-503. We have For What coming up next.
For what is coming up on the Swain Event.
Today looks to be mostly sunny with a 20% chance of rain and a high of 61. Mostly clear tonight with a low of 38. More sunshine tomorrow with a high near 69 and a low around 45. More of the same on Thursday with a high in the upper 70s. Weather on the Swain Event is brought to you by Be Dry. If your basement is wet or cracked, Be Dry can help. BeDry.com. Be Dry is celebrating 60 years of protecting homes across the U.S. They are the basement and crawl space experts. There has been historic rainfall in East Tennessee recently. If you are experiencing wet foundation walls, puddles on your floor, or water where your floor and wall meet, then you should call Be Dry. They have over 500,000 customers nationwide. Be Dry gives free estimates for all homeowners. Financing is available, and if you mention the Swain Event, Be Dry will give you $500 off a full perimeter basement waterproofing solution. Wet basement? Better call Be Dry. 865-588-0454 or online at BeDry.com.
Do you want a custom themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code SWAIN at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team.
Goes your car insurance.
Nobody likes surprises, so switch to Erie Rate Lock. Get a great rate that stays that way even after an accident, ticket, or inflation. In fact, it's locked until you change a car, driver, or your address.
Your Erie agent in Knoxville is InsureFit RM. Get a quote at 865-684-4900. That's 865-684-4900.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost that it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. Broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries, you break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today. VFL's Jason Swain and Todd Kelly here with our Men on Football and Smoothie segment. Let's discuss some of our favorite smoothies and how they impact our lives. TK, man, tell me which smoothie comes to mind when you think about playing defense?
Swain-O, the Peanut Butter Power Plus and the Power Punch Plus provide the energy needed to make plays every time they take the field. Then you have the Gladiator and the Hawk, nutrition every dominant player has to have. Bottom line, everyone wants to be a dominant player. Now, Swain, you tell me about the offensive side of the ball.
TK, it's what we are going to do to opposing defenses. The Berry Punch and Activator will light up the scoreboard. And in case we need to go into overtime, the Pure Recharge will put us over the top for the win.
Swain-O, you know I love football and Smoothie King. I'm a VFL, a Smoothie King for life. The Chocolate Gladiator and the Chocolate Shredder with the scoop of peanut butter, oh, that's my go-to smoothie. They get a chest bump all day.
Yes, sir. This concludes our Men on Football and Smoothie King segment for today. Don't forget the Sip by Sip program. Use Smoothie King as a meal replacement 5 or more times a week and you'll feel and see the difference. Smoothie King, the healthy alternative to fast food. Delicious and nutritious. TK?
Don't forget the peanut butter. Yeah, boy.
Dan Mullen posing awkwardly with recruits.
For what?
Gators working out wearing costumes.
For what?
Vanderbilt making a sorority-style video.
For what?
Aaron Murray and David Pollock opening their mouths.
For what?
It is time for what? This is going to hurt me more than it hurts the person giving for what to. Remember back in the day, you used to get those lectures right before getting a spanking from your mom or your dad. Never really understood what it meant at the time. I do understand it now as a parent, but I gotta give this dude a for what. Ben, you don't mind if I give this guy for what? This is your former running back, man. This is your former running back, Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, please give this man a for what. You know what? I think we should edit the for what intro and add Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell.
I mean, I think Antonio Brown definitely could be on there, but I gotta give a for what to Le'Veon Bell. Here's why. We've seen athletes try to be rappers. We've seen rappers try to be athletes. Le'Veon Bell is the next guy who he raps, and he put out a video on Twitter yesterday, and the video is not great. The song is not great. It's a lot of auto-tune. It's not great at all.
Terrible.
Here's why Le'Veon Bell gets it for what? Because Le'Veon Bell tweeted out the video itself. It is, again, it's bad, but it's a full video, full rap video, and he says, "Are you ready?" He used the emoji, fire or trash can. So he wants to know if it's good or bad. Fire or trash. So he's asking for people's opinion on what they think about his song. Well, he gets an opinion from fellow NFL baller and current LA Chargers wide receiver, Keenan Allen. And Keenan Allen lets him know exactly how he feels. It's what he asked for. It was the truth, right? He asked for the truth. And Keenan Allen basically said, dude, this is trash. It's trash. On Twitter, Le'Veon Bell proceeds to be bothered by the critique and says that if you honestly felt that way, you could have just texted me and said that, LOL. But it seems even people with check marks want to troll to seek attention for mentions nowadays. Enjoy the buzz, fuzz. It's still all positive vibes. Wait a minute, Le'Veon. You asked for an opinion on whether your song was fire or trash.
Trash.
And Keenan Allen told you it was trash. But now you want a behind-the-scenes critique when you ask for a public critique? Come on, Le'Veon. You get it for what, man? You can't play both sides of the fence there. So he gets a for what?
Somebody told him, you deserve an ACL injury this season for this.
That ain't right.
That ain't right. Le'Veon responded, I don't know you, but I still want the best for you. All positive vibes.
Yeah, that's below the belt. That's Twitter fingers right there.
Twitter fingers were itching from this random person.
Yeah. Someone at Le'Veon says, so Le'Veon asked if his raps were fire or trash. Keenan Allen said, this ain't it, Chief. And now he's saying you could have texted me. You asked. That's exactly what I'm saying. Don't ask if you don't want an answer. You get it for what, Le'Veon? Come on, man.
So reading the mentions to Le'Veon's little rap video on Twitter, the first one says, Ramon Foster will appreciate this one. Auto-tune doing all your work like it's your offensive line.
Ooh. Oh, man. Yeah, I got to give Le'Veon for what?
Somebody said, Jets 2-15 because of this. Y'all losing to the bye week as well.
I mean, the rap is garbage. But what else is he going to do during his time off? So I don't blame him for making a song, making a rap, doing something productive. But if you're going to ask for people's opinions, do not get triggered when you get exactly what you asked for.
Somebody said they vomited from their ears.
It's bad. It's bad.
A lot of gifts, a lot of trash cans.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody posted the microphone picture with blood coming out of the ears.
It's bad. Going to the text box before we go to our top of the hour break. DC Vol Girl says we can't bring in someone to coach the Lady Vol simply because they are a former Vol. That is ridiculous. Holly was a Vol and knew the Pat Summitt way. That didn't work out well. Kelly Jolly Harper has a record as a head coach. It is mediocre. That won't cut it at Tennessee. We need someone that has shown they can win. I said this in the first hour. If I'm Coach Fulmer, I talk to every Lady Vol who is coaching. I talk to them. That doesn't mean I hire them. And that's where we have to kind of pump our brakes a little bit and not overreact when we hear a name of a person who's been contacted. Because contacted and hired are two different things. If I'm Coach Fulmer, I talk to everyone I can who is associated with Tennessee. So that way no one can't no one can say that, oh, you never gave these guys or girls a chance. You didn't give Kelly Jolly Harper a chance. You didn't give Nikki Caldwell Fargus a chance. No, I gave them a chance. I talked to them.
Do you think this is a courtesy interview of sorts? I don't know that they are interviewing. I don't know that it has gotten to that stage. I believe that they're just at the talking stage. But do you think this is a courtesy conversation?
No, I don't. And if it was, I wouldn't be able to tell. And because of the timing, no one's going to be able to tell. That's why you do this the way you're doing it. You know, you don't reach out to T. Martin like at the very last stage of the interview process unless it is a courtesy interview. Because this is publicly the first person that Fulmer has talked to or reached out to, it doesn't look like a courtesy interview. It's no way to really tell. So we've already hired what we thought was the best person, who is from Bama, who's a Bama guy. We didn't make a hire based on him being just a Vol, because if that was the case, you would have hired Kevin Steele, you would have hired T. Martin.
And that should give Tennessee fans hope that if Philip Fulmer does hire a Lady Vol, he truly does believe that he or she is the right person for the job.
Based on the football hire.
Based on the football hire, yes.
Yeah, based on the football hire. If he has the same approach that he had with the football hire, then yes. But this is Lady Vols. This is a whole nother animal. Ask Dave Hart about how this is a whole nother animal. Hour 3 coming up.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
VFL's Jason Swain and Todd Kelly here with our Men on Football and Smoothie segment. Let's discuss some of our favorite smoothies and how they impact our lives. TK, man, tell me which smoothie comes to mind when you think about playing defense.
Swain-O, the Peanut Butter Power Plus and the Power Punch Plus provide the energy needed to make plays every time they take the field. Then you have the Gladiator and the Hawk, nutrition every dominant player has to have. Bottom line, everyone wants to be a dominant player. Now, Swain, you tell me about the offensive side of the ball.
TK, it's simple. You always score with Smoothie King. The shredder personifies what we are going to do to opposing defenses. The Berry Punch and Activator will light up the scoreboard. And in case we need to go into overtime, the Pure Recharge will put us over the top for the win.
Swain-O, you know I love football and Smoothie King. I'm a VFL, a Smoothie King for life. The Chocolate Gladiator and the Chocolate Shredder with the scoop of peanut butter, oh, that's my go-to smoothie. They get a chest bump all day.
Yes, sir. This concludes our Men on Football and Smoothie King segment for today. Don't forget the Sip by Sip program. Use Smoothie King as a meal replacement 5 or more times a week, and you'll feel and see the difference. Smoothie King, the healthy alternative to fast food. Delicious and nutritious. TK,
don't forget the peanut butter. Yeah, boy.
We now return to the program. It's A Debtful Life.
2 auto loans, 6 credit cards. Sometimes I wish I'd never taken out all this debt.
Oh, you should never say that, especially since Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt.
Who are you? Are you an angel?
Close. I'm a loan officer at Alcoa 10.
Teacher said that whenever you hear cha-ching, someone refinance a loan at Alcoa 10.
Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End BBQ. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com.
Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. morning. It's supposed to be really nice outside today, so I don't know what was going on yesterday, man.
It wasn't this morning on my drive over here.
Man, I'm just telling you what their weather report says, but I mean, it is Knoxville, so there's no telling.
Well, you know we are going to get winter in the morning. It'll be springtime around 11 o'clock, and then it'll be summer, middle of the summer, around 3 o'clock, around the time practice starts today. And then as the sun is setting, we'll get fall. We'll get all 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah, we won't get nice weather today, according to what I'm looking at here. It's supposed to be in the mid-50s, and I guess it's supposed to be raining like right now. But tomorrow, it'll be nice. It'll be right at 70, and Tuesday will be at 72, and Friday is going to rain, and Saturday is supposed to rain, but thunderstorm. But sorry, man. Sorry.
That really ruins my weekend. Tennessee baseball's back in town. Was looking forward to a great weekend out at the ballpark. Looks like it'll be in the midst of rain now.
I'm looking forward to going to a Tennessee baseball game this year. I'm doing it. Like my youngest two, they're a little bit older. They're a little bit easier to manage.
Just have that iPad.
Out and about. Yeah, as long as we got the iPads, we're good. We can keep them distracted, and we're good to go. Let's see here. Yeah. Checking the messages on Facebook Live, where you can watch the show. What we got there?
Robbie wants to know if we have covered up Admiral clearing up his tweet yesterday. She says it was more of a shot at the refs, not a shot at Coach Barnes.
I said this yesterday before we ended the show. I'm ready for this to move on and pass over. But I'm sorry, I do not buy Admiral's clarification, because the clarification does not make sense to me. I'm an Admiral Schofield fan. This does not tarnish my feelings towards Admiral Schofield at all. But the explanation does not make sense to me. Here's why it doesn't make sense to me. His original tweet had a video of Popovich getting after the refs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his tweet was insinuating that my coach was like this or something like that, right?
He says my tweet is not a shot at Coach Barnes.
No, the original tweet.
The original
tweet.
He said it something along the lines of, it would have been nice to have had something. Would have loved this sometime this year with the shrugging emoji.
Yes. So he quote tweeted a tweet where a video of Popovich getting after the refs. And so the initial thought was, wow, you want your coach to get after the refs. The clarification tweet was,
Admiral retweets too many things. My tweet is not a shot at Coach Barnes, but at how other coaches are allowed to act this way in games, and my coach can't.
Here's where Admiral loses me. Popovich was kicked out of that game.
He was not allowed to act that way.
He was not allowed to act that way. He got 2 technical fouls for acting a fool and got ejected. So that doesn't make sense to me at all, because Rick Barnes, if he would have acted like Popovich when he got ejected on that call, he would have been ejected too.
And rightfully so.
So I'm not going to sit here and do a whole segment of why I don't believe Admiral and jump on Admiral. I thought he made a mistake in even saying anything in the first place without 100% making himself clear. Say what you mean what you say. You understand Twitter. You're very smart. You understand Vol Twitter. If you don't make yourself 100% clear, you leave room for people to generate their own conclusions. And that's what happened yesterday. So it was a mistake to even say anything anyways without being 100% clear. I thought the explanation tweet just didn't make sense to me. So no, I don't buy it, but I don't care enough to talk about it, to be honest. Because them getting bounced out of the tournament last week, man, was emotional. It was emotional for fans, and it was ultra emotional for those players. It really was. I don't agree with this narrative that Rick Barnes doesn't get after the referees because, and it's something that Ben and I talked about after the show, man, I can think of at least 4 or 5 times when different players on this basketball team have had to hold Rick Barnes back from getting after the refs. I've seen Grant Williams hold Rick Barnes back. I've seen Admiral Schofield.
I've seen Bone. I see Lamonte do it a lot.
Yeah, like literally having to hold Rick Barnes back from getting after the referees. See, this is a lose-lose situation for Rick Barnes because some of y'all, if Rick Barnes would have done a Kermit Davis, throwing his jacket on the floor, getting a technical foul, and helping Tennessee win the game or helping the opposing team win the game, man, y'all would crucify Rick Barnes for that.
Correct.
Coach Cal got a technical here. Now, that was not the reason why they lost, but it certainly didn't help. How about Benford at LSU when he got his technical foul in the SEC championship game against Florida, arguing a call? Florida got, what, 6 points on one possession?
Mm-hmm.
And the ball. So, y'all want Rick Barnes to act the fool on the sideline, but what if he gets a technical foul and hurts his team's chances? What are you going to say now? I'm sorry, Rick Barnes, he gets after the refs, in my opinion. I don't understand what y'all seeing.
And in my opinion, he does it the right way. Because, Swain, if you are a referee, if you're referee Swain, which Travis Cabbage, great Photoshop potential right there.
Throwing everybody out.
But if I'm the head coach and I disagree with a call that you make, which are you more likely to respond better to? Me throwing a temper tantrum on the sideline like Will Wade, Bruce Pearl, Kermit Davis, John Calipari, or me trying to talk to you respectfully and being stern with you, but also not showing you up? Which one are you going to respond better to?
Respectful and stern.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is the approach that Rick Barnes takes with the referees. Now sometimes he gets a little more stern when he needs to, but if I'm a referee, I'm going to respond to the coach that isn't trying to show me up in front of America.
I got an example. So this weekend, we have a couple dads on our team. We all coach. So it's 3 of us, right? And so I've been head coaching games before. Well, I'm standing up most of the time. I'm doing communicating with the referees because I had my speaking engagement there at Sports Fest 104.5 Zone. I was not there for the first 2 games on Saturday, so we had another parent who did an amazing job. Who coaches basketball? He did an amazing job. Being the lead coach. So when I get back, I'm not standing up. I'm on the bench. But I'm in a different role. So the Sunday morning game, the referees were so bad. It was the first game of the morning, and the ref were not calling anything. So both teams were fouling like crazy. And so the job of a referee is to uphold the rules to promote an even playing field or court. But the second reason is to ensure safety. And so it got to a point where, like, we're looking across the bench and talking to the other coach like, hey, man, this is bad on both sides. Somebody's going to get hurt. So there's one foul that was not called, and I was an assistant coach at the time, wasn't standing up. And I started talking to the refs like, dude, like, you got to start calling things, man. Something is going to happen. You need to tighten up. And so he stopped the play and addressed me. He's like, I'm going to hear from the coach, but I'm not going to hear from you. I go, no, you're going to hear from me because someone's going to get hurt.
Did he throw you out?
You need to do your job. No, he didn't. But I almost got a tech.
I would pay for video of this.
Yeah, I almost got a tech.
Oh, this makes me happy.
Yeah, but we were up 10, but if we would have lost that game, that would have been on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a game that was out of control, and I didn't want girls to get hurt on my team or the other team. The referees were that bad. So there's a way that you address refs in a respectful way. You don't want to show up the refs because, man, they're humans. You want Rick Barnes to get thrown out of the game? What does that even do? What does that even accomplish? I mean, these players, they've seen Rick Barnes go after referees, and they've had to hold him back. I understand you want your coach to have your back and fight for you. That pumps you up, that gets you excited. But I don't feel like Rick Barnes hasn't done that. I feel like he's done that plenty of times. I really do. Now, when Konzo was here, Konzo never talked to the referees. He never got after the referees. And that was a fair criticism. Because Konzo never did that at all.
He never got a tech, I believe.
No, I don't think so. He might have gotten one.
At the very end.
But rarely got a technical foul. And honestly, Rick Barnes could have gotten more technicals this year. Because if you have to be held back by your players, that means you're really being aggressive towards the referee.
And I believe I said this on air yesterday, but if you're watching on TV, you can't see this. But if you are at games, if Grant Williams goes up for a shot, and Rick Barnes thinks that Grant Williams got fouled and he didn't. Point being, if Rick Barnes sees something that wasn't called and he's upset about it, he jolts out of his chair with his arms raised up and is like screaming at the referee, asking for an explanation. But if you're watching on TV, you don't see that. But if you're in person, it's kind of outside of the broadcast angle. You see Rick Barnes get on to the referees quite a bit. And so like you said, I don't understand this narrative that Rick Barnes doesn't work the referees. You can work the referees without throwing a temper tantrum like some of these other coaches do. And honestly, I prefer for my coach to not throw a temper tantrum and look like a child on the sideline. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Rick Barnes guy. If we have a head coach one day that does throw temper tantrums on the sideline, I'm not going to like that. I don't think that's a good look. Kind of how we make fun of Will Wade for doing it and Coach Cal for doing it and Bruce Pearl for doing it. I think it looks silly. So I actually like that Rick Barnes tries to get onto the referees in as calm a manner as possible. And quite frankly, I think it does better for the team.
Yeah, I don't mind Coach Kyle. I don't mind Bruce Pearl. I don't like Will Wade style. If I had to compare myself, I'm probably more like Bruce Pearl, honestly, on the sideline as a coach.
Well, the thing that I don't like about Bruce Pearl and John Calipari is that they complain about every single call. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't think they like it, but it's part of working the refs.
Yeah.
To get a call for your team.
But you have to like stomp around on the sideline every single call. You can work the refs without stomping around on the sideline for 40 minutes.
Yeah. No, I get it. Personal preference. I respect it. We talked to Austin Price coming up next. Stay with us.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Have you noticed lack of energy, motivation, and drive? Call the Low T Center and schedule a complete health assessment today. Whether you have sleep apnea and need a CPAP or have low testosterone or low thyroid levels, Low T Center will get you feeling great again. If you're a man over 30 and haven't had an annual checkup, don't wait until you feel bad. Do yourself a favor and get a quick and easy health assessment today. Services are covered by most health insurance. Call 865-392-1388 or go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Top 100 Barbecue Restaurant Dead End BBQ is the best place in Knoxville to scratch your barbecue itch. With new specials and a new menu, there is something for everyone. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, try the Smokehouse Stew. Thursday through Sunday, the Hillbilly Chili is where it's at. Don't forget the half-price wings on Tuesdays from 4 to 8 p.m. and the salmon plate on Friday. The people spoke and Dead End listened, adding Dead End Society favorites like the Bernie Mac, Randall's Kitchen Sink Burrito, and the Barbecue Cheddar Meatloaf to the menu full time. Whether it's a game day or any day, at Dead End BBQ, the mouth-watering barbecue search is over.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Then call me, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904. Listen to what the Tarver family had to say.
Jennifer was our realtor recently and helped us find our dream home. She also helped us sell our home, and we had a signed contract in only 2 days. Her greatest strengths are her patience and personality. We never felt pressured, and I would highly recommend her in buying and selling a home.
Call me, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904. 865-5904 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
It's freezing in here, Mary. What's wrong with your heater? The repairman can't get here till next week. Sugar, you've got the wrong guy. My guy is fast and has free heating service calls when he does the repair.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Hiller. Take advantage of a free service call with any repair.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End BBQ, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are here on the show. Lots that we have covered and still have a lot to cover, and that includes spring football over there on the Hill and Tennessee football recruiting, and we do that with one of the best in the business. That is Austin Price of VolQuest, VolQuest.com. AP, good morning.
Breaking news here on the show, Swain. Today's the last day of gloom and doom. We're in the high 60s and 70s for like the next week. Woo-woo.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I'll take it because yesterday was not what I'm here for. I'm not here for the spring and it being like 30 degrees in the morning. I'm not here for that at all, man.
I know.
That was
30 degrees when I took my 5-year-old to kindergarten yesterday.
Jeez,
I'll pass.
Not here for that at all. But I am here for recruits taking a visit to Tennessee, man, during the spring, big-time recruits. Andy calls in. He loves recruiting. And he rattled off, seems like every name that was here yesterday when he called in. What can you tell us about how the weekend went with some of the recruits visiting?
Well, Tennessee with a lot of big-time guys in this weekend, a lot of quality players. Jason, start with Raheem Jarrett, the 5-star wide receiver, right here as he wraps up his kind of spring tour. Been to several different schools over the last couple of weeks. And I think Tennessee's in a good spot there. Do I think it's done? I won't go that far, but I think Tennessee has positioned themselves as well as they could possibly do for the 5-star wide receiver from the state of Maryland. Yesterday I had a chance to catch up with 5-star tight end Darnell Washington, and he liked the visit. His mom told me she really didn't want to go back home to Las Vegas, which is where they live. She really she's a huge country music fan, and told me that it's always kind of been one of her dreams to live in the state of Tennessee, and I'm not sure why that is, but she's always kind of had that kind of inkling to look at the state of Tennessee as a potential place to live. And Darnell is a very talented tight end out of the Las Vegas area. He told me he's really close with Brian Niedermeyer, and I think Tennessee's going to be in that one till the end. He told me he'll officially visit here later this year. And then, Tate Ratledge, the 4-star offensive tackle, from North Georgia, from the Darlington School in Rome. He is. I think Tennessee. He is really. Tennessee's ascended for him, Jason. A year ago, I think Tennessee was kind of running third to Alabama and Georgia, but right now, I think Tennessee is right at the top. If not on top, I think they're definitely right there with Georgia. As that's kind of a 1-2 battle, for his services.
Do we have to use Dolly Parton to get a kid? I mean, you look at all the other schools around the country. I mean, Georgia used Atlanta, and they're, I guess, they're only 45 minutes away from Atlanta. They're in Athens, and they use their music pool to be able to get Bill Norton from West Tennessee. Do we need to call Dolly Parton to make some moves for this player from Nevada?
Dolly Parton, anybody out of Nashville. I was just intrigued, and she was telling me about it yesterday. How much she loves country music, and just had a great time this weekend. So, he'll be back later this year for an official visit, and you look at he and Eric Gilbert, the other 5-star tight end. You don't normally see 2 5-star tight ends, but there are this year with Darnell and Eric Gilbert out of Marietta, and Tennessee kind of positioned well for both. I don't think they're going to land both, but I do think they could potentially land one.
Well, you were kind of touching on what I was going to ask you there. You don't really see 2 5-star tight ends being recruited at the same time. Darnell Washington is listed at 6'7.5". I mean, is there a chance that maybe he switches positions when he gets to campus if he were to come to Tennessee?
I think he or Eric Gilbert, Ben, could play multiple positions. Eric Gilbert, when he plays defense for Marietta, is very, very good. I do think both those guys could play on the opposite side of the ball. But, I think their first love is, to catch touchdowns and play tight end. So, it'd be something where I think, they would have to buy into it, much like the way Jason Witten, who wanted to play defensive end, had to learn into buying into playing tight end. I think both these guys would have to learn into giving up tight end and playing on the defensive side of the ball. So, right now, everybody's really recruiting to play tight end. And then, you get them on campus and see if they fit better elsewhere.
Speaking of fitting in elsewhere, let us know about the transfer players from Michigan and Georgia, and Aubrey Solomon and D'Angelo Gibbs, and how are they fitting in? We are less than 2 weeks away from the orange or white game, and looking forward to seeing the newcomers and how they adjust and how they make plays and how they're going to help this football team. How are they adjusting with their new team in the first big-time scrimmage over the weekend?
Adjusting quite well. I think it's been, a pretty smooth transition for D'Angelo Gibbs from, playing secondary at Georgia to playing receiver here. He's, made a few plays in practice and scrimmage, and, I think, whether he's eligible this year or not, I think he's definitely a guy that can help this team going forward at the wide receiver spot, just because you do lose Juwan, Callaway, Tyler Bird, Brandon Johnson after this year. So in my mind, it was a no-brainer to take him. At the time, I was like, I don't know. He's not only played wide receiver in high school, but you see him out there, you just watch him in practice, even the limited parts that we get to see, and you can see what kind of impact he's going to have. Aubrey Solomon, you feel like is the guy that they really need to get the waiver, to be able to play right away, just because Tennessee needs help on the defensive line. But both those guys are, I think, kind of come in. Solomon a little more than Gibbs, just because Gibbs is a talker. He's a personality. But Solomon's come in and just kind of went to work, put his head down, and Tennessee's still waiting to hear back. Jeremy Pruitt don't want to really talk about that. He's been asked about it a couple of times. And just says they're going through the process. But the way the NCAA is passing out, transfer for free cards right now. It'd be hard for me to believe that, these guys don't win that appeal, at least one of them. Solomon, he's coming back from Michigan, much closer to home. Gibbs actually going a little further away. So, but, Martell was going further away. He ain't from Miami. He's from Las Vegas. Justin Fields is from Georgia, left Georgia to go to Ohio State. And to me, I think you're just setting yourself up for a potential lawsuit if you tell the big defensive lineman that he's not eligible, but the flashy quarterback that everybody's clamoring to get eligible is eligible.
Jeremy Banks had a nice scrimmage on Saturday. Is he going to be staying at running back for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I do believe so. I think they tinkered with him last fall. I think there was some discussion this off season, but Tennessee felt like that because of the fact they added Quavaris Crouch, Henry, and then of course they continue to hope J.J. Peterson comes along, that they could put him back at running back because they do need a bigger back. If he continues to play the way he started this spring, Ben, and then you know what you're getting out of Ty Chandler and Eric Gray comes on, it just feels like Tim Jordan could end up being the odd man out, and that ain't a bad deal. I mean, if a guy that's played a lot of football for you is the odd man out, that means you're doing pretty well depth-wise.
Yeah, Ty Chandler continues for me to be the guy to beat at the running back position because he just makes guys miss. I mean, he is explosive with the football in his hands, and really was the only guy on offense that we can say that about last year. He's added the weight, and he still has all the explosiveness that we witnessed last year. Is he creating some separation away from the other running backs, in your opinion? I believe so.
I think he's firmly entrenched as the lead dog, but I do think that they've got some guys behind him. And let's one, Eric Gray's a true freshman. He's been on campus a couple of months. So, it's unfair to say, okay, he's going to come in and, pass the Ty Chandler. I don't think that's realistic. But I don't think you really know what you have in him because he's been banged up and been on the bike over there with Fitzgerald for half a spring ball and just recently got to go in to start doing more and more and more in practice. So, but yeah, I think Ty Chandler is firmly entrenched as the lead dog at tailback. But I mean, I think as long as Banks can hold on to the football, he's going to be a factor there as well. Well, and as we all know, in this league, you need a 1-2 and maybe even sometimes a three-man team leading that way in the running back room.
You mentioned J.J. Peterson. How is he progressing along?
He's doing okay. I mean, for my taste, he's got to be a little tougher. I mean, too many times in practice when we're out there being, I'm sure you've seen it. He comes up lame in just an individual drill, and it's my ankle, my leg, whatever. I mean, I'm not saying he's not hurt, but to me, he's got to kind of push through that stuff. And I think at the high school level, you could get away with being like, I'm not gonna practice real hard at this level. If you don't practice real hard, you're not gonna play. I think that was kind of established last year with Jeremy Pruitt and his culture. So, I think number 6 has got to kind of push through some of those aches and pains that maybe would have kept him off the field for a practice in high school, and he's going to continue to push through and practice if he's going to be a factor on Saturdays here.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. Austin Priceless on Twitter is how you can follow him. He joins us via the B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. His time is brought to you by Jennifer Morris with the Keller Williams Realty Group. One of the most famous gifs or gifs, depending on how you want to say it, is the one with Alonzo Mourning, where he is shaking his head in disgust, but he's like, well, that is a point too. And then he kind of shakes his head in agreement. Well, that's what I think about when I think about these freshmen. Because, yes, we got these freshmen. They're really, really good. We needed talent. We needed beef. And you can kind of shake your head in disgust that, man, we got to play true freshmen on the offensive line. But then you kind of shake your head and, okay, well, man, hey, you look around the league in the last couple of years, man, there's been a lot of true freshmen that has impacted on the offensive line, the skill position players. It just seems like, for me, Austin, maybe I'm wrong, but in the last 10 years, man, we've seen more freshmen impact inside this conference. This is a conference that, man, it's taking guys a year to redshirt to develop their bodies, to develop their minds. But now we're seeing it at big-time schools who are winning and on the biggest platforms that they're making plays and helping their team win. I mean, you look at Trevor Lawrence and Justin Ross at Clemson. A year before that, you look at the Alabama freshmen. I feel good about Tennessee's freshmen being able to come in and play early. They're still going to make mistakes, but I think they're going to impact and be okay.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, Jalen McCullough has had a really strong start to spring ball. And not surprising, he's a smart, intelligent, heady football player. Wanya Morris, I thought, had his head swimming a little bit, but from all accounts at the scrimmage, more than held his own. Was very solid on Saturday. So yeah, you expect some of these guys to factor, and they need some of these guys to factor. But it's kind of like when Butch Jones was here. He came in and had that class with Jalen Hurd. okay, that one class you expected all those guys to play a lot, but the next year, you didn't expect as many freshmen to play. I mean, at some point it tapers back a little bit because those freshmen should be much better as sophomores, which means the freshmen behind them are not going to surpass them.
Yeah.
So you expect the creme de la creme to help. You just don't expect the whole class to help. And I think that's where you're going to get to here is you're going to have your top-end guys. They will factor, and everybody else will find their role, whether it be special teams or, being in the two deep and go from there.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. Austin, what is going on there at the website this week? Are you going to let us know that Tennessee is going to get any big-time players this week and be number one in recruiting rankings? Do you have that coming down the pike for us?
I don't know if I've got that coming down the pike, but we've got recruiting coverage. We've got spring practice as Tennessee will be back on the field today, this afternoon around 4:30. And then just continued coverage throughout the week and coverage from the rival Charlotte camp this weekend.
Yeah, man, I've saw some videos and photos of a couple 7-on-7 camps and events across the country as guys are I guess, trying to work for their rankings and go out and compete against some of the best talent in the country so they can kind of see where they are. And it's always a fun time of year because that makes your job, it can be easier, but it can also be a little bit hard too because you just don't know where guys fall in the pecking order. So a lot of good content. Good to see Tennessee guys. Good to see guys coming and visiting Tennessee. And we know this long list of prospects will dwindle down as we get close to signing day. But this is a fun time of the year, man, because there's a large net of recruits that Tennessee is interested in, and it looks like those recruits are also interested in Tennessee. So we'll see what happens.
All right, man. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you next week.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. Jennifer Morris, her telephone number is 865-257-7897. If you are in need of buying a home, or if you need to sell your home, you need someone that's going to be no nonsense, truthful, work hard, that's going to do everything in their power to make sure that you get exactly what you need and deserve. That is Jennifer Morris. She works with the Keller Williams Realty Group. She is phenomenal. We love her. We love her. It's really hard these days to find someone that's authentic because everyone can put on a face. Everyone can appear to be something, but they're not. Well, Jennifer Morris, you get exactly what you see. That is someone who is straightforward, that's going to tell you the truth, and is going to work her butt off to make sure that you are taken care of with your home. So give her a call again, 865-257-7897. That is Jennifer Morris with the Keller Williams Realty Group. Swain Event, we will continue hour 3, which is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com after this.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. You pull over, step out of your car, and the next thing you know, you're being arrested for driving under the influence. Now what do? We all should be responsible, but remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza at 865-540-8300. The investigative teams at the Garza Law Firm know the justice system inside and out. They utilize cutting-edge technologies and investigative methods to prepare your specific case. Before you plead guilty to any criminal charges, call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza. Put his number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty. Say Garza. 865-540-8300. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
We have all made the mistake of dropping or breaking our smartphones. See? But did you know that you can have it repaired for a fraction of the cost it takes to replace it? Well, you can, because iDrop is the area's leading mobile repair store, home of the 1 hour or less phone repair, 1 year parts warranty, and #1 customer service. broken screens, cracked cameras, charging ports, batteries. You break it, we'll fix it. If you didn't break your phone, protect it with one of our leading accessories such as LifeProof, OtterBox, UAG, Incipico, Caseology, and Spec. Visit our West Hills location at 7115 Kingston Pike between Office Depot and Hardee's, or call 865-888-9740 and speak with our trained technicians to see how we can get your phone working today.
Goes your car insurance. Nobody likes surprises, so switch to Erie Rate Lock. Get a great rate that stays that way even after an accident, ticket, or inflation. In fact, it's locked until you change a car, driver, or your address.
Your Erie agent in Knoxville is InsureFit RM. Get a quote at 865-684-4900. That's 865-684-4900.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Huge thanks to Austin Price for joining the show this morning. 8:50 a.m. 100.9 FM Rocky Top Sports is where you can find us on the dial. Swain Event app, free for Android and Apple devices. This is how you can listen to us. Doesn't matter where you are, what time it is. You can listen to us live by simply hitting the play button there. Listen to us right now. We're live, and you can access all the podcasts from previous shows there as well on the app or there at swainevent.com. You can watch the show. If you have paid attention in the last week, we've kind of changed the shot where Ben and I are in the same shot. Now, we do the work of four people. I would say four people during the show. You have your host who hosts the show. Normal situations, you have your host, and then you have your board op, your producer who pushes all the buttons. But we have an audio board op, which would be you, Ben. So you are answering the phones and pushing the buttons and getting us in and out of breaks. And then me, I'm also playing producer with the video. So I take care of the video stuff, and you take care of the audio stuff. So we do the work of about 4 or 5 people here on the show each and every day. And so you've seen the kind of the difference in the shot. So you can check that out on Swain Event TV. That is Periscope, Facebook Live, and YouTube. There's comments here on Facebook Live, and we've gotten to some of those during the show. And I always like to take a look at what's going on there. Keith Vaughn says, I am a Jordan Bone fan, but the two best point guards in the country are playing in the Final Four. That's Michigan State's point guard and Cassius Winston, and Auburn's point guard, and Jared Harper. How about that, Ben? I got it. I didn't call him Bryce Harper.
In the midst of our lunch with Chris Lofton yesterday, you called Jared Harper Bryce Harper, or Bryce Brown Bryce Harper, about 10 times.
Yeah,
but
at least 10 times. Yeah,
you could
right.
play it off as you're just talking about the duo of Jared Harper and Bryce Brown, because if you put the two together, it is Bryce Harper.
Yeah, so instead of peanut butter and jelly like Abram Schofield and Grant Williams, it's just Bryce Harper,
Correct.
Bryce Brown and Jared Harper.
Correct. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I play that off. Yeah, I think right now, yeah, Cassius Winston is probably the best point guard in the country. I mean, he accounts for 60 to 70% of Michigan State's points.
John Morant.
I said right now.
Okay, right now.
Yeah, right now. Right now, yeah, it's probably Cassius Winston, no doubt. But over the course of the season, and you look and project what they can do at the next level, then yeah, John Morant's obviously better. Cassius Winston's not going to be drafted over John Morant. You look at Jared Harper, and right now he's playing really, really well. You know, Auburn was without Chuma Okeke, and he took over. I mean, not just shooting long threes at the end of the shot clock, but my man was driving to the basket, finishing. He's the shortest dude on the court, but he was finishing around trees in the Elite Eight. So we said it all season long. It's about playing your best basketball at the right time. Tennessee did not play their best basketball at the right time, and Auburn is. Auburn at one point was one of the most disappointing teams in the country, was definitely one of the most disappointing teams in the conference at one point, but now they're the best team. They're the hottest team, and that's what it's about. Villanova proved that a couple years ago. We saw UConn prove that with Kemba Walker. We saw one year Syracuse prove that. It's about getting hot at the right time, and so that's why you have these 4 teams right now in the Final Four.
Yeah,
it's what it is. I will say this though, before you make your comment, you mentioned that the NBA, they don't like experienced college players.
I mean, they like them. They just don't like them like they do the guys that are essentially coming out of high school.
Yes, you're right. And maybe that changed a little bit because you look at the NBA, and I haven't really seen, besides I guess Trae Young, he had 1 year there at Oklahoma, and he's tearing it up right now for the Hawks. Hawks have a really bright future, but and then, Zion's going to go in and do what he's going to do. But look at the Final Four. Look at the Final Four right now. Experienced guards in Auburn, experienced team. Look at Virginia, experienced team.
Experienced guards.
Yep. Look at Michigan State, experienced team, experienced guards. And look at Texas Tech. Guys that have played a lot of basketball, whether or not they were from Texas Tech, that's another story or not, but they've played basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They're experienced. So you got 4 experienced teams.
And that should give Tennessee fans hope for next season.
Yeah.
It's weird how it works because you go back and you look at the one and dones from last year, DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley, Jaren Jackson, Trae Young. They're all having really good rookie campaigns, and they look like they are all going to be really good players in the league. And you can throw in Wendell Carter with your Bulls and Colin Sexton and maybe Mo Bamba and whatnot. So it works for the NBA in that sense. But then it's also funny to see that recipe of the one and done, it really doesn't work at the college level. I mean, you look at Cal. I mean, he hasn't been to a Final Four in 5 years, I believe it is, and over the last couple of years, he's actually failed to bring in a top 5 player. Although it is a little funky when you say that, because you could go back and you look at 2 recruiting classes ago, the one that had De'Aaron Fox and the kid from Arkansas, Malik Monk. Mm-hmm. If you go back and re-rank those players, those 2 are definitely top 5 players. But the one and dones don't really work in college basketball in terms of winning an NBA championship. I mean, a NCAA championship. Duke has had a hard time. I mean, last year they had Marvin Bagley, who was the number 2 overall pick, and I don't believe they made it to the Final Four. They didn't win a championship.
They didn't make it to the Final Four.
No. And this year, I mean, you had Zion Williamson, you have R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish. You don't make it to the Final Four. So that should give Tennessee fans hope that next year, assuming that Jordan Bone and Grant Williams return, you'll have 3 senior guards with a dose of, freshmen, elite freshmen that will play right away in Josiah James. And then you do have plenty of experience in the post, and one of those players could potentially be a 3-time SEC Player of the Year. That should give Tennessee fans hope that this season and last season wasn't a 2-year run for Tennessee, and that just because Admiral Schofield and Kyle Alexander are graduating means that the run is over. I think this is just the beginning, and I think 5, 6, 7 years from now, we will look back at Tennessee basketball, and Admiral Schofield will be viewed as what Taj Boyd is to Clemson football. I truly believe that. I'm not saying that Tennessee is going to win a national championship because, like I've said on the show, like I said yesterday, in my opinion, it is harder to win a championship in college basketball because of the tournament style of play than in football. But I do think Tennessee is a team that will get over the hump at some point and make an Elite Eight, and it wouldn't surprise me if they made a Final Four in the coming years.
I got to mention this because this is happening right now in our state, and this state, the sports fans in this state have proven to be some of the best in the country. I mean, you look at Memphis basketball, and those fans, man, they're great fans. I mean, they're passionate, they're supportive. You look at Tennessee football fans, and we've seen Tennessee basketball fans step up in a huge way. You look at the Nashville Predators and how that fan base, this is football country. This is SEC football country, and the Nashville Predators fans have been just unreal the last couple of years. And so the NFL draft, every year they've had it in New York. Well, they've changed it around a little bit. They were in Philadelphia 1 year, in Chicago 1 year.
Dallas, weren't they?
I think Dallas 1 year, and now
yeah, because you had the Eagles kicker like yelling at the Cowboys fans.
Yeah. And now it's going to be in Nashville. Well, they've had to kind of make some suggestions on how to make the event work, and that includes moving some trees that are downtown. It's beautiful. I was there over the weekend, and downtown Nashville is just really, really cool, really awesome. I can see why everyone's moving to Nashville, and it's growing the way it is, but they have to move some trees. And I don't understand like why this is even a issue for some anyways. You have a chance to host the NFL freaking draft. This is the next best thing to hosting like an NBA All-Star game or something like that. The amount of money that's going to be pumped into your city, it doesn't even compare when you're talking about trees. Now, trees are important. I get it. Like, trees, they're important. And if you can move them, great. I know they're not going to be the same, but don't mess this up. Don't let trees get in the way here. It doesn't look like it's going to do that, but it just seems like, man, of course, Tennessee, the state of Tennessee is going to make this difficult than it needs to be. Just have the NFL draft and rock it out.
Yeah, and maybe there's some information that we don't know about regarding the trees as to why you and I are on the same page. Like, don't let trees get in the way of allowing all this money to be pumped into Nashville from the draft, and it could open up doors for so many other things in the future. You just never know.
Great city, man.
And so the trees were to be cut down on Monday ahead of Nashville's annual Cherry Blossom Festival. The festival includes a walk along the cherry tree line downtown riverfront on April 13th, and the draft takes place from the 25th to the 27th.
But they've kind of changed the plans, and they're just going to relocate the trees now. They don't just want to chop them down. They'll plan to relocate them, according to the Tennessean articles put out just not too long ago, yesterday, 150. So they're going to meet in the middle, and that's what should happen, because you don't want to mess up an opportunity like this. Trees are important, but this is the NFL draft, man. You don't get a chance to host an event like this in Nashville, Tennessee.
Correct. And Nashville will be such a great place to host the NFL draft. You go back in, the Titans unveiled new jerseys last August or before this last season, and downtown was absolutely packed. I mean, it's what sold the NFL on doing the draft in Nashville, and I like that the NFL and the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation had previously said that they would donate 200 cherry trees each to Metro Parks for planting throughout the city. So not only does it look like the issue will be resolved, but looks like they've come to a good resolution to where they'll move the trees that are downtown in the way, but then they're also going to donate 200 cherry trees each to Metro Parks throughout the city. So I agree with you that you can't let trees get in the way of hosting the NFL draft. And like I said, maybe there's a piece of information that you and I are missing that we need to be a little more sensitive to. If somebody has that information, please let us know. But you can't let trees get in the way.
There's an important event, and the trees are important. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say the trees are not important. I think people do that too easily. It's either really, really important or not important at all. No, it's important. But this is the NFL draft we're talking about here. And so there's an expert here, Bartlett Tree Experts in Nashville, says it's difficult to move the trees at any time, noting that it would take extraordinary measures to avoid cutting a majority of the roots while moving the trees. And it's just difficult to move the trees. But if you had to make a decision, are you taking the trees or are you taking the NFL draft?
NFL draft.
I mean, you are. And so there's been a petition. Thousands of people have signed a petition to save the trees. I have no problem with that at all. I think trees are, again, very, very important. Mayor Briley informed the NFL, the National Convention and Visitors Corporation, that the local organizing body for April's NFL draft, that they would have to remove the trees intact and replant them elsewhere in the city. And only 10 trees will be moved. They have not determined where the trees will go, but man, this is gonna be an awesome backdrop there downtown Nashville. It's gonna be beautiful there. So I know we're not right in the middle of Nashville. We don't talk Titans a lot, but man, I hope that the NFL draft is a hit, because Nashville, man, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful city, and I'm kind of jealous, man. I'm kind of jealous of the down scene there that Nashville has.
Yeah,
I think it's time for us to kind of step the game up here in Knoxville. And hey, there has been a lot of things done to downtown Knoxville, but really happy that the NFL is coming to Tennessee, because the world get a chance to see how passionate our fans are. Not just Tennessee fans or any other college team around here, but pro sports. The Titans, they haven't been here as long as the Cowboys has been in Dallas, or the Raiders has been in California, or the Steelers in Pittsburgh. When you think of NFL fan bases, you think about those franchises first, because they've been around so long. Well, the Titans fans, man, they're just as passionate, just as loyal as some of those other big-time fan bases. So I'm happy for Titans fans. 865-200-5503 B-Drive Waterproofing Hotline. 87 Vol says, living here in Nashville, there's nothing special about the trees that they are wanting to move. There should be no problem with moving those trees. Carmen says there's more info to know about the trees, but I'm driving, can't text. Thank you, Carmen, for not texting more than you already did while you're driving, I guess.
I can't text, but here's a message on the text box.
Thank you, Carmen, for not texting more. Maybe she just did voice to text.
Maybe
she did voice to text.
I'm just picking on her.
Thank you, Carmen, for that. Justin says, I agree that refs are human and make mistakes, but there are way too many bad calls and no calls to chalk it up to mistakes all the time. Oh, I agree. I don't know where anyone said that they did not agree. There's a human element with officiating that you always have to kind of take in consideration. I think Tennessee has been screwed by calls, and I think Tennessee has benefited some calls. Tennessee probably loses to Ole Miss, probably loses to Vanderbilt without a favorable call their way. You got screwed against LSU. You got screwed in the last game against Purdue. You can say that. Kentucky got screwed against LSU. And they're lost in the regular season with the tip back goaltending the ball was still in the cylinder.
Tennessee got screwed on a quote unquote basket interference against Purdue.
Yep.
Admiral had
to put back dunk.
And it was 100% coming off the rim. And for whatever reason, the ref said that it was basket interference. And that goes back to your point. Why are scoring plays that are in question not reviewable?
Yep. Volin Birmingham says, Ben, you can complain about Pearl all you want, but nobody motivates their players like he does. His players are always ready.
Never said he didn't.
They're ready at the right time right now. But
they
lost 9 games in the regular season.
Yes.
And they should have not lost 9 games in the regular season. So to say that they're always ready, that's not true. But they're ready at the right time right now, and that's what matters most.
And I would say that Bruce Pearl's track record would indicate that the majority of the time he does have his guys ready to play, and he is a master motivator, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I never said he didn't. Just because I don't like his crying and whining and stomping around on the sideline doesn't mean that I don't think he's a good coach or anything.
Yeah. Chris, this looks like Chris in Texas. Admiral's tweet makes sense when you put it through the lens of, I wish I had more of coaches getting tossed for acting like this. Example, Coach Kyle. But I agree, the tweet was too vague considering all of us are still raw from the weak calls. The backpedal didn't clarify it all either. Good young man, a lesson learned, I'm sure. As you said yesterday, You can't leave your intent in the hands of the reader. When you do, you beg for the worst case scenario interpretation. And that's really my only point. I don't really care that much to say Admiral was right or wrong, or man, he shouldn't have said that, or man, he threw Rick Barnes on the bus. I can't believe you did that. I don't really care about that. All I'm saying is, as a Tennessee athlete, you understand how Twitter works, and you understand how Vol Twitter works, and you just got to be careful. And there's like Admiral knows better. He's a really smart dude. He's a senior. Say what you mean what you say, and don't leave it up for the reader to just make up their own thing. Be really clear about what you mean, because you don't want to create a firestorm. This created a firestorm that was unnecessary. It was picked up by I want to say what, CBS said something about it. Why? You could have been more clear in what you were trying to say. That's all I'm saying.
Volstorm says the draft is one weekend, but people that live there have to look at the damage caused by moving those trees.
I understand. I totally get it, man. I respect how they feel. They live there, and trees are part of the neighborhood. So I totally get it. That's our time for the Swain Event. Swain Event is fueled by Dead End BBQ, Hour 3, powered by Low T Center, lowtcenter.com. Reinventing men's healthcare. Men, do not ignore your snoring, your sleep apnea. Do not ignore your lack of energy, your lack of libido. Do not ignore anymore. Go see the good folks at the Low T Center. Go to lowtcenter.com. Peace and love. Have a great day. We are out.